And a very good morning. Welcome back to Hastings. This is day 2 of the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championships for 2022. The first 2 days as we focus on our age group representatives, the under 18 and the under 20s tomorrow and Sunday. It's all about the senior and para athletes. And already we have got athletes on the track. There is going to be no mucking around, no dilly-dallying. Sarah Cowley-Ross is settled in, pen at the ready, laptops and computers fired up left, right and centre. What are you looking forward to the most today, Sarah?
I'm actually looking forward to these hurdle races, actually, Nigel. I'm not going to lie. I love seeing these young, talented athletes come through, and so great to be here in the Hawke's Bay. The sun's out, and I'm sure we're going to see some quick times from these young women and young men. And
straight away, we're getting national titles decided. That's the full entry field. As we head over and look at the high jump, that's another event which is getting underway very, very early morning. Of course, we saw that wonderful performance yesterday by Adam Stack, clearing 2:05 and putting 6 centimetres on his personal best. There we have the 100-metre hurdles, sponsored by the good team at Mohaka Rafting. And there is your field. Geneva Guinea in lane number 2, Sarah Jameson in lane number 3, Talia Van Rooyen coming off the back of that really hot, albeit wind-assisted 100 metres win yesterday. Caitlin Keechin of Auckland, Grace Wisniewski had a pretty good day yesterday as well, Georgia Gibbons and Olivia Herman. So that's a really well pedigreed field. Wisniewski was in the 300-metre hurdles yesterday. I see a pop up in the 200 sprints as well. Got a personal best, the lady in lane number 6 of 15.19. Tell you what, how hard is it to be doing the hurdles at this time of the morning? You know, we're talking, what are we? We're still 2 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Cool, sun is up. You can still taste the toothpaste. I mean, how challenging is it going to be for these young ladies?
You know what? They'll be ready for it. And as someone that started a heptathlon with the hurdles, I feel like actually we're kind of starting a heptathlon right now. So they'll be ready for it. As you mentioned, a lot of them competed yesterday, so they'll be into it and looking forward to utilising these really great conditions for 9 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, I think that is really one of the big things, the fact that it is just lovely conditions. Yesterday it was a little bit overcast and a little bit cooler this morning. Very little cloud cover, or what cloud cover we do have, it's like that paintbrush sort of cloud across the blue sky, and the sun really starting to come down. Already put on the sunscreen, and I think we're going to probably need a bit of that throughout the day, because it's fixing to get a little bit warmer than what we saw yesterday, and the conditions looking ahead to the weekend as well, pretty good, as you would expect from sunny Hawke's Bay. So there you see our first competitors getting into things in the high jump. A few warm-ups, and as I say, yesterday, wonderful performance by Adam Stack, clearing 2 metres for the first time, had a PB coming into it of 199, and then Adam with a clearance over 2 metres, and then we attacked another 3 on. I think ended up 2:05 yesterday. And so a wonderful wee boost for that man. Of course, works down in Canterbury with Terry Lomax, as we are set now for our first final of the day. And it is the hurdles. And we are underway in the hurdles. A little bit of a slow start by Wisniewski. Great work from Van Rooyen, who's got lovely stride going over the top. Oh, Van Rooyen is just running away. This is a beautiful exhibition of hurdles. Gone. See ya. Thank you so much. It's a minute and a half past 9 and she's got another gold. That was impressive, Sarah Cowley-Ross. Yeah. Very impressive.
Yep, she's obviously got a tremendous leg speed turnover over the hurdles, and that flat speed combined with a good hurdle technique at this age, no one can stop that.
I was going to say, I thought Caitlin Keechin was actually keeping reasonable pace with her, but goodness gracious me, once I think it was about the 5th flight, she just started to disappear.
When you've run 11.5. You're not going to keep up with that kind of speed, and 13.84 is a very good time for Talia Van Rooyen. Kuei Chin, 14.70. Grace Wininski, 14.95. Sarah Jameson, 15.10. Olivia Herman, 15.89. So some really great times, like you say, at this time in the morning.
Well, according to this personal best for Wisniewski, that's the first time she's dipped under 15. For Jameson, she's taken about half a second off her PB based on the notes that we have been handed. That's impressive, though. Sub 14 for Talia Van Rooyen. We saw her yesterday dominating, absolutely dominating in the 100 metres, albeit wind assisted. We know that she is locked in to head away to, well, not locked in. She set a qualifying mark for the World Under-20 Championships in Cali. And that there was in the 100 metres. But that was a really impressive performance there. So now we move on to the under-20 hurdles on the track. There you see some of our javelin throwers getting themselves set. Great array of... There is Orla Motley out of Canterbury. This is the under-18 women's javelin throw.
But I think everyone needs to write Talia Van Rooyen's name down for the future. It's 16, an incredible talent. You know, wind-assisted time yesterday. Today, she was running over the under-18 height, which is different to the under-20 height that you would need to set a time under for the World Junior Standard. But an impressive future ahead for her.
See more of our athletes over there at the 26.23, by the way, for Motley, and that was Vavia Chaplo. You see our already up and at 'em, our wonderful volunteers. You're nice and early, see them laying out all the hurdles out on the track, getting everything into place. You see our high jumpers getting into their work.
So in that aspect, it's quite good.
Just trying to get all the, so many different feeds coming in and trying to get all the.
Well, that's right. I'm wondering though if it
That little bit of an issue as we look there. It's over by the long jump, triple jump pits. Just putting the boards in place, get everything all sorted.
And like yesterday, Nigel, on the back straight with those horizontal jumps, they have put the board down at the anti-clockwise way around the track. But we might see it shift the other way in the afternoon when the breeze does change direction and we do get those tailwinds come down the home straight. That wind on that last race, 0.0.
It is Chelsea Moanano out of Wellington. This is the under-18 javelin throw. Nice arc to that one there for Chelsea, just short of the 30 metres. As I say, you got again the nice variation here as we complete the program on day 2. The high jump we'll keep an eye on. There you go, there's the under-18 list. Dougal, Clark, Paranihi, Arbuckle, Bone, Barnett, Augustine, Walker. We'll see Cantabrian in there. I'm sure our good friend Terry Lomax will be over sort of lurking around, keeping an eye on Ethan Bone. Galen Paranihi out of Auckland. We have 3 Aucklanders you can see there in your field. And again, we spoke about it quite a bit yesterday, but just the importance of having someone to chase for those young men. The ability to watch Hamish Kerr, leaping 230, 233s. And just having him, and we saw yesterday with Adam Stack, Hamish sort of lurking around there, which is great to see.
Wonderful to see.
Carmen Elizabeth Maritz to throw in the women's javelin. It's the under-18. 28.2 for Carmen Elizabeth. Again, we're seeing quite a lot. This is Ella Hogan, who we saw in action yesterday with hammer and discus. And now into the javelin. Again, great to see again all of these young ladies and the young gentleman as well yesterday, doing the different variations of the throwing events. Always good to see. Some very different techniques required when you go from a hammer to a discus to a javelin, but all just part of adding to your athletic repertoire, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's about giving it a go, having fun, you know, having a laugh at yourself as well. I can remember throwing hammer once at one National League a long time ago. Gosh, it was not pretty.
27.76 for Ella Hogan. Yeah, might not have been pretty, but I'll guarantee that your teammates probably enjoyed the fact that you gave it a crack.
Oh, exactly. That's what it's about. Points on the board.
Yep. It's Mia Bartlett there out of Wellington. It's a throw sort of around that 33-metre range. Once again, you see the teamwork of the other crews involved here, our teams of officials. So quickly marking the spot, getting the measuring into place. One comes and grabs the javelin and walks it back. Slot it into the holder. It's not the worst conditions for javelin throwers, as we said yesterday, what they would really like. As we get a look here, this is actually Vavia Chaplow. What I'm sure she would really like is just a bit of breeze coming off that right shoulder of hers as she gets one out over the 30-metre mark. At the moment, it's reasonably dormant.
Very still, isn't it?
There's Vavia. It's a little high five there from her teammate. That's nice to see. As we wait for the measurements to come through. So great, they've got all the different technology dotted around. So we've got a computer which has got the ability which can sort of change through, try and catch up with everything as it happens. And you see some of the work that's being done in terms of the computer side of things, all done manually. Here's Orla Motley. So, nice arc to that throw there by Orla. Another one who did the hammer discus double yesterday. Here we are, 100-metre hurdles, mohakarafting.co.nz. And there's the small field. Peasley, Maggie Jones. Maggie had success yesterday in the 300 hurdles. Julia Burnham out of Canterbury. Ava Duggan of Auckland and Sarah Hewitt. Waikato Bay plenty. We saw Sarah in a couple of jumping events over the far side yesterday. So it's Peasley of Auckland in lane number 3. Jones, Manawatu Wanganui in 4. So we head back to the javelin. Again, a nice little 33 metre throw there, somewhere around that mark. So after the first round of throws, it's Mia Bartlett who actually leads with 33. That throw there, though, could just give that number a little bit of a nudge from Leala Willem. Waiting for the confirmation there, you see. So there's the manual scoring as well. We've also got the computer coming through, bouncing all the way around. So here we go. This is the under 20 women's hurdles final. Field of 5. From right to left on your screen, it's Peasley, Jones, Burnham, Duggan, Hewitt. That's Auckland, Manawatu Wanganui, Canterbury, Auckland, Waikato Bay plenty. And away. Well, blocks nicely there by Burnham, and Burnham's going to lead them through the first few flights, trying to go with her as Duggan, but Burnham's got a nice advantage at the moment. Now Jones starts to get into her work as well. Maggie Jones coming, but I think Burnham's just got too much on this one. Over the final hurdle, to the line, good run. There's your national champion, her name's Julia Burnham. And that was really nicely done. Maggie Jones was coming at her late. She'll take the silver. I think Ava Duggan's gone through for the bronze. But that was really nice hurdling there from Julia Burnham.
Yeah, great to see Julia there. You know, a really nice lead tail action. Snappy tail through this time in the morning, and she'll be stoked with that run.
So we spoke a lot about the camaraderie. 15.07 for Julia Burnham. Maggie Jones with a 15.45 and Ava Duggan 15.62.
So just outside their PBs, but doesn't matter. It's all about the national title. Giving it your best.
Yeah, well, absolutely wonderful first 2 races of the hurdles, and now the crew in front of us, where we're commentating from, is already out and packing them down. I'll see them a little bit later on.
Raising them up. They're raising
Oh,
them
sorry,
up.
raising them up. Excuse
Yep.
me, yes.
Yep. Changing them over. That's a lot of work. The hurdle changeovers, making sure they're on the right marks. The weights are in the right position.
Carmen Elizabeth Moritz, we just saw there. So the bar we just saw at the high jump, sitting at 1.64 meters. There's Ella Hogan popping out from behind her javelin.
She looks like she's having fun.
Well, as I say, it's talking a lot. You see that the hurdles to start, and straight away you get straight into multi-eventer mode. But it's quite a. I think what we're seeing a lot as we see Ella get ready and with another throw. And again, that's getting around that 30 metres. It's quite compact at the moment. The lead's at 33. But then you've got Chaplow sitting second at the moment on 32. Willem with 31. And then we've got another competitor just slightly underneath the 30 metres. So reasonably tight to begin with. So as the sun continues, really starting to find some heat as well very early on. Whereas we had a nice clearance. Good mullet as well. I don't know how that works in terms of aerodynamics over the bar. So what I like there is he's committed.
He's committed to the melee.
I see so many people, so many young men in particular who just, they get it sort of down to sort of the middle of the neck, and it's kind of like, I've got a mullet. No, you're not. No, you haven't. You've got to fully commit. You can only really call it a mullet until that mud flap is really sort of touching sort of the middle of your shoulder blade. So he's committed well to that. So
that's a Nigel
big props to
Yalden pass
that.
on
Big
the
props to
mullet.
that young man. Well, no, I'm just saying I don't mind him. I know there are some people that really dislike it quite immensely. A very good broadcast friend of ours dislikes it massively when I even start speaking about the mullet. And if she is watching this live stream, I'm bound to get a text probably in around about 30 seconds, and she knows exactly who she is.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's 30 seconds, it's more like 5.
Well, as I say, it's commitment to the cause.
Yeah, it is. And share our friends'
look,
thoughts.
As I say, it's not my cup of tea.
It's not my cup of tea. I salute the commitment, though. My daughter actually gave herself a mullet recently. That was quite a shock.
Was she meant to do that,
She
or
was not meant to do it. She had her first haircut on the Tuesday, then on the Thursday, I found her in the bathroom with some scissors and all her locks off.
Oh no!
Yeah, so that's why I'm a little bit anti the mullet at the moment.
There we go. All a motley with her throw with a ponytail.
No. Basically, a straight mullet, as good as that young high jumper we just saw. Not straight, curly hair.
So there we go, 169 now the height for the high jump. We just wait for that distance to come through as well for Orla Motley over at the Javelin, 25.37 for Orla, so no improvement there on her best throw to this point. Here's now Willem. So I'm just getting a few images shown to me of the aforementioned mullet. Look, I think that's a good clearance, by the way.
Nice.
It's a very
That's
nice
really
clearance. I think, in terms of the shape, I think she was working in the right direction, Mum.
She was definitely working the
So
right
look,
direction.
you've got to look for your positives here.
Yeah.
You've got to go and look for your positives. Okay, she was working in the right direction. This is Dale Arbuckle. Bar at 169. This is the under 18 men's high jump. That's a nice clearance there by Dale out of the Tasman. Jesse Moana no. Getting that one there. Now they go looking. Has to leave a mark. They have found a mark. It's one of our Auckland competitors there. We've got 4 of them in this particular event. Of course, well represented. There's another Auckland athlete. Carmen Elizabeth Maritz. Currently sitting in 4th spot at the moment with a best throw of 28.2. Oh, now that
looks like
is
an improvement.
well over. That's over 30. And as I said, it's really tight at the moment at the top. We're looking at throw of around 33 to lead. Then it's 32.48 in second, 31.26. I suspect that one there, if it doesn't take her top, it's going to take her very, very close indeed. Carmen Elizabeth Maritz out of Auckland.
It's the beauty of the Javelin. If you can line it up, you can make a significant difference to your distance.
See if that comes through as we watch Sam Burton here. Just looking for that too. Hasn't come up yet for Carmen Elizabeth. We see another throw going through 32. So 32 for Carmen Elizabeth Maritz. So that would slot her into 3rd at the moment. So lots of moving around still to come. There you see Sam Burton. Lovely, relaxed. Nice technique, arcs over, gets the legs out of the way.
Great slow-mos from the stream shot crew.
So you just suspect he's really just sort of building into his work. Here is Lucas Lambert. Mud flap flowing. Soaring, just clipping that. As we say, bar currently sitting at 169. He's making the adjustments. We're not too far away as well from the under 18 men's hurdles. That's got some talent in there as well. A few athletes we saw in action yesterday. Lane number 3, Bo Brackenridge out of Canterbury. Asher Pentacle-Brand, who was 3rd, I think it might have been, in the 100 yesterday. Braxton Cody was very impressive as well over the hurdles in the 300. That's a nice little clearance there. That's Oliver Barnett of Auckland. Now we've got some more jumping action going on the far side. It's a long jump. We're really starting to get into the wheelhouse of our co-commentator Sarah Cowley-Ross.
Oh, that's a nice clearance. Much better execution at the takeoff there.
That was Lucas Lambert. Now we get back to the under-18 men's hurdles. James Hansen is in 1. Liam McKenzie, lane 2. Bo Brackenridge, 3. Asher Pentacle-Brand is in 4. Joseph Dunn in 5. Braxton Cody in 6. Nathan Brown, 7. Connor Brown in 8. And we're away, and we look straight away for the middle 2 lanes. It's the middle 3 lanes at the moment. This is nice work, Joseph Dunn, but this is a really good hurdling contest. Dunn's got the advantage at the moment. Pentacle-Brand, can he try and get him on the flat to the line? No. Joseph Dunn from Pentacle-Brand. Brackenridge, I think it was, who came through in 3rd. Wow, that was a good race.
A great
really
race.
Good. Kind of got the feeling, I thought Asher was just getting back at Joseph over those final couple of hurdles, but he's dug in there. We know that Asher can really move on the flat. That's great work, though, by Joseph Dunn, a 14.9.
And he really came through in that middle stages of the race. Strong hurdling from Joseph Dunn. And the Canterbury trio, silver and bronze.
That's Hadley McDougall there in the under-18 high jump. And it's Jacob Clark with a nice clearance of 1.74 m. So just confirming that result again, Joseph Dunn, 14.9 with the win. Second, Asher Pentacle-Brand of Canterbury, 14.98. And Bo Brackenridge, Canterbury, 15.15. So we now move to the under 20s. More adjustments being made to the hurdles in front of us as the high jump continues. Jesse 1-0 on the runway in the under 18 women's javelin. Currently with a best of 24.90. That one there, I suspect, might just improve a little bit on that one from Chelsea. Always hard as we sort of take in the arc, and it's a delightfully sunny day. There's Dale Arbuckle, good clearance. And very relaxed as Dale. These saws. We go back to Ella Hogan. At the moment with the best throw around the 28 metre mark. They go over to Oliver Barnett. And that bar that you're looking at there in the high jump, currently situated at 1.74 m. The under 18s. Full field. Arbuckle, Augustine, Barnett, Bone, Burton, Clark, Lambert, McDougall, Murdoch, Paraniki, Walker. Here's Carmen Elizabeth Moritz. That one there. And around that 30 metre mark again. Waiting to see. Just haven't had the updating of some of the other distances coming through just as of yet. 32.71 for Carmen Elizabeth Moritz, and that's good enough at the moment for third. Here is your field for the under 20 men's hurdles. Joshua Price of Canterbury. Cameron Moffat, Otago. Cole Gibbons, Otago, son of, I would assume. Is that another part of the Gibbons breeding program? We saw his daughter Georgia competing yesterday, Cole today. And that looks like another second generation athlete there. Kieran Sinclair Lomax.
And that is as well.
Yep,
Dropped Kieran off at the track this morning with his dad to make a quick trip back because he forgot something. But he's all set to go.
Yeah, it was quite nice talking with Terry about that, because I said, look, do you coach your son? And he said, well, no, I don't, but Kieran likes and seeks out my advice. So he says, I'm not the hands-on coach. He's got one of those. But he said, he just says it's kind of nice that he can help, A, as a coach, but B, it's more, as he said, it's that lovely father-son dynamic. So I think that's a nice thing, and I'm sure that Terry enjoys it, and he was saying that there was no pressure ever for Kieran to get stuck in, but he gave it a go for a season, just enjoyed it and kept on going.
Yeah, and he'll compete today, and then over the weekend he'll help as an official volunteer, so wonderful. Yeah,
well, that was the other thing I noticed this morning, a young lady coming in, and obviously you get given these little passes to come on through, and this person was like, well, yesterday she was a competitor, and today she's coming in to help as an official, and that's so important. That's so massively important.
Yeah, we wouldn't be anywhere without the officials.
Leela Willem skies that one out. It's going to land nicely now. That's another throw again, all around that sort of 32s and 33s. Back we head over to Sam Burton at the high jump. A little frustration there.
They move on to third attempts at the high jump. So that's the under 18 men's high jump competition in play.
There's all a motley of Canterbury on your screen. She's looking around that mid-20s mark there from Orla. We go back here to Oliver Barnett. Another miss over there as the bar starts to creep up. Wander over. Wondering if that could be. Sitting here waiting. Here we go. Here's another athlete. This is another local athlete. It's Josh Augustine that we just saw out of Hawke's Bay, Gisborne. There's Chelsea Moananu from Wellington. Currently sitting in 6th place. There will be in that 25 range again for Chelsea. And that's Sam Burton. I think you were saying third attempts for those athletes.
Yep, we'll see the bar go up.
There's Ella Hogan getting ready for her next throw on the javelin. So there, we've got some warm-ups happening on the far side for the long jump. Javelin underway. Ella. Ooh.
Gosh, it's tight at the top of this competition.
It really is. Sort of all the leading competitors in and around that 30, 32, 33 metre mark. Ella currently sitting in 5th spot at the moment. We'll see where that throw there leaves her, whether it moves her or whether she remains in that 5th place. .31 for Ella, and she remains in 5th spot at the moment. Carmen Elizabeth Maritz, she's currently situated 3rd. Ooh, now that's going to be interesting. Tell you what, as they've got deeper into the rounds, these young ladies are stepping up and reaching back for a little bit of extra. Oh, that was close. That particular effort there. That was Hadley McDougall.
The bar's now at 179.
It was Hadley.
High jump.
A bit of a chat there. There we go. There's the small field for the hurdles, under 20s. Tangled up in that one. Looks like we've only got the 3 athletes. Just trying to see who we've lost there. It's one of the Otago athletes. Not sure if that's Cameron Moffat or whether it's Cole Gibbons. Lane 4, I think it's Cameron Moffat. So you'll see the vacancy there in lane 4. So it's Josh Price in 3, Cole Gibbons 5, Kieran Sinclair Lomax in 6. Underway. Nice start by Price on the inside. Good hurdling as well. Coming in those outside lanes. Price now, here comes Gibbons. It's Price and Gibbons putting on a show, going over the hurdles. It's going to be Gibbons who's going to get there in the end. But, gee, that was a good race. Good late surge as well by Sinclair Lomax. But it is Cole Gibbons taking out the under-20s. Nice wee dip on the line. Won't be much. Gibbons, 15.77. 15.9 for Joshua Price. I thought Kieran Sinclair Lomax isn't too far over the top of 16 seconds either. When his time comes through, sadly we don't have a do not start for Cameron Moffat. 16.23 for Kieran. Right, back to the javelin. Mia Bartlett remaining third, 31.72. There's Leah Willem. Gets a nice round of applause from her fellow competitors. Very tight at the top of this one. Continue to wait. Currently just sitting in second at the moment. You see Ben Walker, another one of our high jumpers out of the Tasman region. Waiting for Leah Willems. 32.83. Still leaves her in second spot. So really tight. Say in terms of those numbers. Here's Lucas Lambert out of Wellington. That's a nice jump.
Yeah. He's coming into his own, Lucas. No issues at 179 for him.
There is Moananu. I think this could be the final rotation of throws coming through for these young ladies.
Yeah, I can see on the indicator board, and I'm round 6.
So, let's say final throw from Josie Moananu. There we see Hadley McDougall with the clearance as well. Bar at 179. Moananu 33.51. Well, that jumps her up into third. Here's Ella Hogan.
She'll reset. Go again. A little bit excited there in that final round. Ella Hogan. As they pack the hurdles away, back to the high jump. Oh, yes. Snuck over that. Take that.
That's Jacob Clark out of Auckland. Back we come again to Ella. Waiting for that. Ella. Attempt again there from Dale Arbuckle. Now Carmen Elizabeth Maretz, I understand, is leading this competition. Sort of whiffs a bit on her last one there, does Carmen Elizabeth. Just didn't feel quite right. She has a wee right grid on her face. It's a no throw. I was going to say, I think that's probably the first time we've actually seen the red flag lifted this morning over there at the Javelin. These young ladies have been very disciplined on the runway. Gee, that's a nice jump.
Oh, goodness
That's
me.
a very nice jump, Sarah Cowley-Ross.
Yeah, that's Ben Walker. He is looking very tidy. Some great height over the bar there. The under 18 men's high jump.
Now we go back to Chaplow. Which is back through that. Oh, wee. Wow, that's another really good throw too. This has been a fun competition. Just steadily, it's almost like these athletes are solar powered. Just the warmer the weather conditions are getting. I'm sure there'll be some scientific reason for the fact that maybe it sort of helps maybe the flow, but just as they're getting more and more warmed up, the distances really have been coming, and it's tight. It's really tight over there in that under 18 women's javelin.
Arbuckle just struggling on that one.
Wow, 36.23.
Wow.
36.23. Now Bartlett's got to try and respond. That's a throw that's pretty darn near that 40-metre mark as well. So via Chaplow, laying down the marker, as Mia Bartlett replied. Been a great comp.
I think our national javelin champion many times over, Tori Peters, will be watching this thinking, this is great for the sport to see these young girls out here, young women, sorry, out here enjoying themselves, pushing each other to greater distances. It's really cool to see.
37.08 from Bartlett.
What a comp!
Now we've got some long jump action underway. Willman preparing for her throw in the javelin. And there, again, it's that mid 30 to 40 metre mark. We head back over and watch Hadley McDougall. So the high jump bar still set at 1.97 metre. Here's Courtney Trail, thanks to the team at Hawke's Bay Orthodontics. And there is the field. Hancock, Watt, McNeil, W. Pompsa, Blasi, Gibbons, Thomas, Beattie. It's the under 18s. Back over it. Yeah, Jacob Clark. Coming through there. That's Courtney Trail out of Manawatu Wanganui. Silver in the high jump yesterday behind Amelia Delatour. Willem, by the way, 35.21, and at the moment that's not good enough for a medal. In this really entertaining javelin competition, there's another really good clearance at the high jump as well. 183.
So moving on to the track, our next exciting final.
It might have been Kaylin Paranehi.
This is Tessa Beard of Southland. Saw her yesterday in the triple jump. At the long jump today. In the early rounds of the women 20 long jump.
So that looks like that javelin final, I believe it may be completed. And that was an outstanding event. I'm pretty sure it was Mia Bartlett that snared it at the end, just waiting for the final figures to come up on our screen. But gee, that was just a really good competition, Sarah Cowley-Ross, a really good competition.
Yeah, they all brought out the best in each other, didn't they? And, you know, on our notes, we've got some girls with PBs of 32 metres, and then they've gone on 35 plus. So that's wonderful to see them showing up at Nationals in their best shape, ready to go.
And getting and taking advantage of, we mentioned they like a little bit of a breeze coming off the right shoulder, sort of behind, helps with all the aerodynamics and all that scientific stuff, which is way over my head. But what these ladies have just done is like, hey, it's a beautiful Friday morning here in the Bay. It's absolutely beaming down on me. I'm going to go out, I'm going to perform. And as they just got warmed up, the distances just kept coming. And what you noticed as well is you'd see one sort of throw around 34. And I was like, hang on, 35 beat that. The next one's going, no, I can top those darts. Here's 36 for you. Really good competition. Literally, it's what we love to see, which is that one person performing and then the competitive side of things coming out, even though there's wonderful camaraderie between those athletes.
Well, it's why not? Why not me? And the spirit of the competition, they're all, you know, congratulating each other after their throws too, which is really cool.
Well, you can see there's good banter going on over there at the high jump as well.
Julia Burnham.
Having already claimed a medal this morning in the hurdles. Not just any medal, gold medal. National champion.
National champion.
That's what we're watching at the moment. So we're now preparing for the under 18 400 metres. Work through lane number 2 there. That's Maya Potuera out of Waikato Bay of Plenty. Gorry down in lane number 1. Kimberly Walsh, Manawatu Wanganui in lane number 3. There's my mate Mudflat Lambert, just clipping that time. What we've seen again, really good competition, guys. It's, you know, you miss it a couple of times and that mental doubt comes through, but what we're seeing is from some of these jumpers is that they're getting deep into their jump count, but then they're finding just what they need to make that third clearance and keep themselves going in the competition. I think sometimes that's almost as exciting as maybe the numbers that are being jumped, Sarah, considering what use that kind of little bit of mental resiliency, and let's be honest, we've all probably had a bit of practice when it comes to that in the last 2 years. Some people, I'm sure, probably a little bit more than others, but you know, to see that kind of resiliency is so good, not just from an athletic point of view, but just from a human endeavour point of view in general.
Totally, Nigel, and I just think that these young athletes, the under 18s and under 20s, are just soaking up being here at the National Championships. Cancelled last year for their age groups. New Zealand secondary schools cancelled as well. And so it's just wonderful to see them back out here competing and competing really well.
Here comes Hadley McDougall. Nice clearance.
Nice relaxed run up there.
So there's the bar at 183. We just sit here waiting. Here is Giselle Howard. So Giselle also in action in the triple jump. Got some men's long jump coming up a little bit later in the day. See, our good friend Jackie Dye has just arrived. He's getting ready behind us. So I said yesterday it's not his best event, but he's going to give it a crack. Love that, rate that, get amongst it. Won a bronze medal yesterday, did our friend in the triple jump.
He's got some good snacks I can see up there.
Well, there you go. Man comes prepared, rate that highly. So we can continue to watch the over the far side. Oh, that was very close, Jacob Clark. And he sort of looks back at the bar and go, really, you did that to me? Here is Courtney Trail. Manawatu Wanganui. The board trying to extend through. It's the under 20 women's long jump. Just wait, there's our athletes in the 400.
And the 400 runners will be very happy with these still wins that we've got this morning. Still wind, no wind. No wind, maybe just a slight tail down the back straight, but really nothing.
Well, we saw with the hurdles there was, I think, the wind speed, I think it was like a negative 0.3. So it's ever so slightly helping down the back straight, but it's just completely negligible. So Gorian 1, Potawera in 2, Walsh 3, Healy 4, Fairclough 5. Keep an eye on Amelia Fairclough. Tika Randall and Mai Diega of Waikato Bay of Plenty's in lane 6 and 7, and it's Bella Willis of Manawatu Wanganui in lane number 8. But already we're seeing Amelia Fairclough in lane number 5 show out. As you can see here already alongside Tika Randall as they make their way down towards the 200 metre mark. I think you'll also find as well Kimberly Walsh and even possibly Monique Gorry when they break stagger. But Fairclough at the moment leading them around as they come in. Just not 125 to go. Walsh as well. Gorry in the inside, so it is. It's Fairclough and it's Walsh. Down the main straight now, Walsh. Fairclough being asked the question. Walsh digging in. This is going to be tight to the line. Fairclough trying to find a little bit more. So too Walsh. Dip at the line. It's going to be Fairclough from Kimberly Walsh. That was a really good run. Nicely timed by both of those young ladies. And Amelia Fairclough, there you see her. And Kimberly Walsh, 55.79. Kimberly Walsh, 56.01. And it was Tika Randall coming through in lane number 6. 57.65. Not much in it between Tika and Poppy Healy. Well, that was nice running by Amelia Fairclough and Kimberly Walsh.
Yeah, there were some really great times there by our under-18 young women.
Well, just to put a little perspective on that time of Amelia Fairclough, remember, this is an under-18 athlete. Qualification standard for the under-20s this year, 55.2. So for an under-18 runner to be, half a second, 0.6 of a second outside that mark, you would think of her good confidence looking forward to a couple of years' time when she really sort of gets into that particular age group and into that line of sight.
Yeah, they haven't announced where the next World Juniors are, but yeah, she'll be definitely looking to target that. If not, find a race in the next few weeks to make a claim for her position on the team.
Let's have a look through our outstanding notes, which have been assembled for us by the brilliant Steve Landells, and just seeing what some of the other times are with regards to the under 18s over 400s. Just trying to find some of that information, which I'll be sure is stored in the hive of notes that the very efficient Steve has put together.
And that was Bernice Cullen we saw at the under 20 long jump. They're in the first few rounds of that competition.
This is Ethan Bone of Canterbury. Look, you know that he's probably got a little bit more in him. If he's just cleared 1.87 m, he hasn't even taken the warm up pants off.
Did he forget to take them off?
I don't know if he did, but he's looked over at his coach and kind of just looked. I don't know whether he got told off for doing it. He's kind of like, what's wrong? I cleared it.
And that man that is there with the lovely cap on, round brim hat, Ian Beard, one of the real legends of this sport.
We see there was Giselle Howard, currently sitting in second spot. We go here to Ben Walker.
Oh, runs a nice curve in his run up.
Explain the importance of that for those like myself, not familiar with why that is so important when it comes to high jump.
Well, the trick with high jump, and it can be quite difficult for your mind, is that you really need to stay away from the bar and let what we call the centrifugal force take you up and over. Now, if you think about a bucket spinning round, the water stays in it. So you want to stay on that curve, plant hard, and then use that energy to get you up and over.
Courtney Trail, a little bit of a rueful smile there. Not really a jump, more of a step for Courtney. As we head back over to the high jump, and it's another Cantabrian, Levi Murdoch. The science of all these events, centrifugal forces.
Yeah, that was a good one, wasn't it?
I was listening to a podcast last night, people discussing the movie The Martian.
Oh.
And that sort of thing sort of came up, and of course Mark Watney got sort of fired up in there and got told, don't be afraid, don't worry if you pass out, pulling something like 12 Gs or something like that, and the people were sort of explaining sort of the significance of that. So yes, it's
oh my goodness me,
very interesting. Here's Tessa Beard.
Yeah, it's a sports science stream for anyone. This fiesta of athletics.
Yeah, well, it's finding that balance. Here we are. It's 400 metres. This is the men courtesy of Aon. It is finding that balance though, because information is a good thing.
Yeah.
Too much information sometimes, if you're not that way inclined, it can be kind of like, no, I don't need to know that.
Yes.
It must be a hard balance for a coach.
A hard balance for a coach, and every athlete is different. So, data is just data, that's what it is, but it can be confusing for some people, but for other people, they thrive on it.
Finding that nice balance. Back here is Sarah Hewlett. White flag goes up. We see the bar at 187. And there was Hadley McDougall. clattering through it. We're waiting for the 400 metres to get underway. So glad you're with us on Sky Sport Next coverage. Day 2, Jennian Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championships of 2022. Sarah Cowley-Ross providing the expert analysis. My name's Nigel Yolden. We're really glad to be working alongside our good team at the Stream Shop, providing these images for Sky Sport Next. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you are. I know it must be frustrating, particularly if you're a parent of some of these athletes, because of the nature of the event and the inability to be able to come in. We hope we are giving you, might only be briefly, the odd look at your preferred athlete. That was Julia Burnham.
As I left the stadium yesterday, all outside the gates for all the parents and supporters peering through.
Yeah, I saw that as well, and you can just see. But the thing for me is you could see them as well. It's like they were there.
They were so happy.
They were happy. They were happy to be there. And this is the thing, as I said, it's been just particularly for these athletes, as you alluded to before, not being able to compete last year. Julia Burnham with a 5.09, by the way, with that last jump, having events cancelled because of the pandemic and the situation that we currently all find ourselves in. So there has been, I think I felt it myself, and I think a lot of people have felt there is that lovely element of joy, and just the fact that we are here, we're doing this, we're all together. Let's have some fun. That's what they're doing at the moment. It's Bernice Cullen out of Otago. She's your leader in the women's long jump, the under-20s.
So on that note, Nigel, just, a huge appreciation to all the people that have put this event together and all the people that have rallied to get these athletes here. It's no mean feat.
Well, as I say, if you are tuning into our coverage today, didn't see our coverage yesterday, this is primarily, it's normally a 3-day event, but they've extended it out to 4 to be able to include and just work through the different protocols. Cullen, 5 metres, 0.25 on the women's long jump as we come back. Ooh, just gave that a bit of a rattle there. That was Levi Murdoch.
Second attempt for Levi there.
The bar sitting currently at 1.87 metre. Here is your field for the under-18 men's 400. Fletcher Van Hoeven of Waikato Bay of Plenty is in lane number 1. Zane Wakeling. Wellington is in 2. Kahorani Cottrell is in 3. There you go. Confirmation that the height is at 1.87 and they're in round 2 at the high jump. Lane number 4, Liam Prouting Gardner of Otago. Jordan Veach of Canterbury's in lane 5. Jack Hunter Wellington, lane 6. Joe Burnham, Auckland, is in lane 7. And Ethan Hansen of Canterbury, lane number 8. They're just sitting and waiting for their event to get underway. There you see, that's Ethan. There's Joe. Jack Hunter. Coming back, there's Jordan Veach. Liam Prouting Gardner, who we saw in action yesterday as well. And you see Kahurangi Cottrell, lane 3. Zane Wakeling in 2 and Fletcher Van Hoeven on the inside lane. 400 metres. We're in starters' hands. And away. All of them nicely out of the blocks and starting to get into stride. And you can see really nice running there from Jordan Veach. It's gone out very quickly. Kahurangi Cottrell. So Liam Prouting Gardner. Well, that is a really fast 200 to start off by Veach. Now Prouting Gardner starting to close as they come into the home straight. Veach still pumping the arms hard, still maintaining form. This has been a very impressive performance by Jordan Veach of Canterbury. Down to the line. I tell you what, he's given 50 seconds a decent nudge as well there. That's really impressive. That's a nice run by that man on your screen, Jordan Veach. Liam Prouting-Gardner coming through in second. 50.13 for Jordan.
Great race for Bonds as well.
Joe Berman, 51.42. Prouting-Gardner with a 51.02. That's your top three. Very impressive by Jordan Veach. Just got out of the blocks and really did power his way to the line. Lambert.
Great confident running there by Veach. Just like Lambert. To hold that line at takeoff a little bit, what I was talking about, it's just slightly coming into the bar at the last minute. It's very fine margins, but it makes a big difference.
So the way you were describing it, so you're creating that centrifugal force and then you're trying to pop off the centrifugal force.
But you're trying to jump up.
It's a slingshot mentality in a way.
It's a slingshot mentality.
Yeah.
So you're trying to jump up, not over, because the force, the way you run up, will take you over.
You thought it was just run and jump.
Well,
so much more to it.
You know what? It's actually much easier to just think about it as run and jump. Oh, so unlucky.
Oh, and he's frustrated
so
too.
Unlucky.
That's Kalen Paranihi. I think he thought he had that one. Here's the reverse angle from it. Where did he clip it? Was it just a bit of a shave of the lower back, was it?
Yeah, just looked like it.
The reaction.
A little bit of a wobble, then, oh, dear.
The reaction told you everything you needed to know. By the way, just with regards to that last 400 metres race that we saw, only, was it just over 4 seconds covering first to second? First to last. Jordan Veach with a very impressive 50.13. There was some good speed coming from everyone else through that.
And just 200th separating third and fourth, Joe Burnham to Jack Hunter. That was a good fight to the end.
Right, here is Levi Murdoch. That was a nice clearance.
And that is staying on your curve.
There we go. Here's Courtney Trail. Better jump we saw her just sort of more the big step last time because you couldn't quite get her timing right. Lucas Lambert, I think this could be the last attempt for Lucas. He looks over at the coach. It's a bit of a grin there.
We've enjoyed having him in the competition, haven't we?
Let him go over. Might still actually have one left. We'll just check that.
It's Mike Ritchie as coach there.
400 metres. This is the women's final. Paige Cromartie, Anna Tucker, Jessica Vogel, Samantha Korku. Yesterday we saw run in the 100 and the 800. Now she's in the 400. Great variety. Mia Powell of Auckland. We'll talk a little bit about that young lady very shortly too, because she is one of the athletes who has also posted a standard for the World Under-20 Championship for the 400 metres. The standard is 55.2. And in November of last year, Mia Powell running sub 55, 54.97. And you've got to say, Sarah Cowley Ross, if she wants to just maybe reinforce that pedigree, she's got very good conditions in which to do so today, you would not think.
Oh, she'll be really looking for a really solid time today. A personal best performance would be great, but these are pristine conditions for 400 metre running. There's no doubt that she will attack this race hard and send a real message.
Well, there we go. So, high jump. The bar now set at 1.91 metre for our under-18 men's competitors. Wow. There's another nice clearance. That's Ethan Bode. Very nice. Straight away over. What do you think, Coach? Give me the feedback.
And that man, that coach, is one of the great technical minds of the sport. He was the first coach of Tom Walsh. Coached many a multi-eventer, including Joanne Henry, New Zealand record holder in the heptathlon, and also was the first coach of Lauren Bruce. So there you go, he knows his stuff. Very passionate man, Ian Beard.
Just wandering over. More discussions between coaches as we go back to Julia Burnham of Canterbury. Moves the ponytail out of the way. So the next 400 metres, it's the under 20. And it'll be Mia Powell in lane number 5 will be one of the athletes we'll be very keen to just keep an eye on. I'm fascinated by the running events that Samantha Cork of Auckland has competed in. Now, yesterday, as I said, it was a 100, 800. And normally when you sort of talk about, those event pairings, I mean, the obvious ones are, 100 metres, 200 metres, or maybe a 2 and a 400 metres. And I'll say Michael Johnson. 4 or an 8, and an 8 and a 15. I'm fascinated by the 1, the 4 and the 8. It's a really interesting combination, and not just that, she's actually really good at all three disciplines of it as well.
Yeah, I think it's great that she's, why should she have to run a 1-2?
Precisely.
And why should she have to do a 2-4? She's figuring out which event she wants to do, and why. Let's just salute the woman for having such a big schedule.
Can I actually just point out as well that's not a criticism. I
No,
guess what I'm saying
this is
it's
amazing.
It's the normal.
Yeah.
It's the normal convention, and I'm like you.
Yeah.
Unconventional. There's nothing wrong with unconventional. There's nothing wrong with finding your own path. I really like that. I'm just fascinated because it is, when you look at it, you think of, very much a power element when it comes to the 100. The 800 is, really you're starting to sort of that endurance sort of where you've still got obviously some pretty high revs you've got to maintain for a decent period of time. And then you come back to the 400 again, which is just, you've just got to go flat knacker for one lap.
Flat knacker. Yeah, we rate it, is what we're saying. And
Yeah.
we're interested
Super
to see
impressed.
Which event she ends up in the future.
So here we see our long jump continuing. That's Sarah Hewlett. So they're just waiting now with the starting blocks. It is just looks like we've just got the 5 athletes. Not seeing Holly Rule at the moment out there in lane number 6, so we could have a late withdrawal, which does happen at these events. So it's Paige Cromartie. It's working our way through. So 2:17, that's Mia Powell. 3:88 Jessica Vogel, then Samantha Cork, and a Tucker. And on the inside, it's a Paige Cromartie. So Cromartie 1, Tucker 2, Cork in 3. There's Samantha who's doing this 1-4-8 triple. Vogel in 4. Powell is in lane number 5. And as I say, Mia Powell has run sub 55 seconds. She's got wonderful conditions again. She has done a qualifying mark for the under-20 World Championship, which will be in Cali later this year. She has set the standard, which puts her in a good spot for selection. Doesn't guarantee her that. But there you see her, just moving comfortably out there in lane number 5. Vogel trying to keep pace. Cork there in lane number 3. Then we go back to Tucker and Cromartie. Looking for Powell as they come around the outside. She will lead them in. She's trying to maintain that good rhythm as she comes down. This is a lovely, relaxed run. Can she power it on to the finish? She's moving really nicely at the moment. Mia Powell, she's going to come down. She's not far off. It's in that 55 range. Vogel just holds off Cork for second and third. Good finish as well coming too from Anna Tucker of North Harbour. There is Mia Powell. We wait for the time to come through. Looks like it's around that mid-55 range. 55.54. And that's a very good run by Mia Powell. As I say again, just illustrating she has done sub 55 seconds for 400 metres. She has posted a qualification standard for the World Championships in Cully, the under-20s. The qualification mark 55.2, so that one there just 0.3 over. A very talented athlete. Mia Powell, and name just again another one, just to, maybe just store away at the back of your mind. We don't want to pump them up too much, but what we have got at the moment in terms of New Zealand is we've got great depth of potential, and that's another young lady with wonderful potential in the sport if she chooses to continue on.
What impressed me about that run was that she was in the outside lane, so it's always difficult being outside, having to not having people to run off, and she just ran totally her own race, and like you say, definitely one to watch.
Well, I mean that was the thing about the reaction when we saw Wade van Niekerk break the record, the 400 record of Michael Johnson. What everyone found was just absolutely fascinating was the fact that he was in lane number 8.
Lane 9,
yes. A lot of people sort of, just blown away by the fact that he really was just running against himself. The only person he could really sort of see were the officials in the crowd.
It's a good example that it can be done whatever lane you're in.
It's just 400 metres. Whether you're in lane 1 or lane 4, distance is the same.
It's all the same.
Here's Julia Burnham currently sitting second in the long jump. Claimed a gold medal in the hurdles earlier this morning to Julia, so a good day for her. Back over to Ben Walker. Well, nice little shake of the hands there between he and Levi Murdoch. Nice camaraderie going on over there at the high jump. Well, now we've got some hammer throw. Getting ready for the under-18 hammer. Just waiting for that mark to come through for Julia Burnham. It hasn't come through on our screen, so unfortunately I do apologise, not able to update you on that particular event with that distance. Here is your leader, Bernice Cullen. They go. Oh, that's nice. Levi Murdoch. Very nice. So there is the indication of the hammer throw. Thank you, Mammoth Signs, for your involvement in sponsoring this event. It's pretty smart branding from Mammoth, given the fact that these gentlemen, although as I say, that the great thing is, I suppose we do have that stereotypical body type when it comes to hammer throw, but it has changed markedly.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot of really solidly built athletes. You see some where they're a little bit more lithe, and it's their speed across the circle is what they are looking for. Really has turned into a wonderful, as Terry Lomax was saying, there's an event for everybody. Come on down.
Yeah, speed of release.
Here's Sarah Hewlett. So Hewlett currently sitting in 5th spot at the moment. Yeah, we're just seeing there on your screen. So 195 the height over at the high jump. We'll have the 400 metres men's. Will be our next event on the track, and that features yet another athlete who has laid down a qualification time for the under-20 Worlds, and that being Lex Revel-Lewis. Standard of 47.6, and Lex having recorded 47.49, and goodness, I thought he was well and truly over that one, Ethan Bone. Very expressive as they discuss and break down that one. Here's Tro. Again, you could just see the front toe over the stop board there, over the landing board, and just take-off board. We'll get there right. We'll get it there eventually. And so they'll just rake that clean again. So again, wonderful conditions for all of our athletes. So glad you're with us here on Sky Sport Next. And you see Ethan Bone heading back over to underneath the wee tent there they've got for the athletes. And his teammate wanders out. And you see Levi Murdoch. 195. We saw Adam Stack yesterday improve his personal best from 199 to 205. Does that inspire his provincial teammates? Murdoch.
Ooh.
That was very close. And here is the...
It's within his reach.
And as well, that was a very good attempt. You see, hammer that's Levi Papwale. Away and there. Straight back over, a little bit of a chin wag. What did you think? Talking it all through. So we have a medal ceremony here. This is for that very impressive hurdles. Back they go. Here's Bone.
Ooh.
Nice.
I like that runner.
He really
very
attacked.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
Very aggressive.
And it was a noticeable increase
Yep.
in terms of his tempo and aggression towards
Yep.
the bar.
You can see how he's jumping further out from the other guys because of that speed.
We see the long jump there around that 5 metre mark. And we see Burnham, Julia Burnham. Behind her is Bernice Cullen. Cullen currently leading this competition. Burnham in second.
And a great big field lining up for this men's under 20 400 metre dash. We have Charles Boyle from Hawke's Bay Gisborne in 1, Kyron Kim from Hawke's Bay Gisborne in 2,
Good jump there from Burnham. So now we come to the under 20 men 400 metres. As we say, that Auckland trio in the middle to keep an eye on, but it's Lex Revel-Lewis. The standard, qualifying standard for the under 20 World Championship of 47.6 in a matter of just, what are we talking about, 10 days ago, maybe even less than that. He ran 47.49. So, an opportunity. Another opportunity in very good conditions. Oh, a beautiful morning in Hawke's Bay. To again, maybe emulate sort of Wire Power and just try and just reinforce with another run in and around that qualifying standard. Revel-Lewis is in lane number 6. Got the two Cantabrians and John Modis and John Wells outside him. But there he is. Bib number 222. Lex Revel-Lewis, Flynn Marshall and Troy Middleton. His Auckland teammates on the inside as well. Well, you can see the lovely loping stride of Lex Revel-Lewis as they hit the 200 metre mark, and he's moving beautifully. Flynn Marshall trying to close him down, but Lex running very nicely. I tell you what, Aidan Porritt's putting in a nice bend here as well, but it's going to be Lex Revel-Lewis leading them into the home straight. Aidan Porritt pushing him hard. Revel-Lewis coming down towards the line. They're having a lock. I think he's going to be in and around that 48. A good dip, might be another 47. There was a little bit of a inhaling of breath there from Sarah Cowley-Ross. He's in and around that 58. Sorry, 48, excuse me. Bernice Cullen, by the way, 47.82. So again, sort of around 2/10 outside that qualifying standard. As I say, he ran that 47.49 on the 25th of last month. So to follow it up, what's that, 8 days later?
Yeah, that's impressive.
With a 47.87, that's not bad. Not bad at all.
It's not bad at all, and he's had a great season. So great front running there from Lex Revel-Lewis. Really fast through that for that first 200. I looked at the split. I was thinking, what is he doing? But he knew what he was doing. So congrats to those young men in the men's 400 metres under 20.
That was a very impressive run. Nice work as well. It ended up being an Auckland 1-2-3 with Troy Middleton and Flynn Marshall finishing in behind, but nice run as well by Aidan Porritt, just tied up ever so slightly down the back straight, but I think it's the one thing. He's on the clock here. He's on the clock, Levi Murdoch. That's the reason why you see him running back. He's on the clock and he knows.
Oh.
Misses. Oh, it was unfortunate. There is a time restraint. I think that might have been his third attempt at 1.95 metre. We go to the hammer throw. Draws the red flag from our officials. You see, there's Levi Pupuale out of Pakaranga. Bernice Cullen continues to lead in the women's long jump, by the way, as we have another medal ceremony.
This is the under 20 110 metre hurdles that we saw this morning. Great race there by Cole Gibbons from Otago.
16.23 is the time. Karen Sinclair Lomax from Canterbury.
There is Karen Sinclair Lomax. Oh, now how cool is that? How cool is that? And for those people going, hey, what's he doing? What's with the hugging side of things? That's Dad. He's in the bubble. I think we can let that one slide.
We'll let that one slide.
That must be a really neat moment for Terry to be able to give his son a national championship medal. That's cool.
Wonderful moment for the Lomax Sinclair whānau.
And then you've got Xana Gibbons on the top podium. So here is one of 3 Wellington hammer throwers in the under-18s. Another wonderful illustration of that wonderful throwing academy they've got going down there. The great work of Shakasola. There you see that is Heath Abbott. Right. Next up it's Canon Paruri of Whangarei as we go back to Ethan Bone. Bar set at 2:01. Ooh, that was another really, really good effort from Ethan. Here's Canon Paruri out of Whangarei. Nice, straight down the centre of the arc. And he's underway. The first 2 throws not recording, so that's nice work by Cannon. He's got a counter. That'll be very pleasing to him.
It's great to get that first round in for all those hammer throws. For any field eventer, actually. Takes a bit of the pressure off and you can just get into your work. But I've seen some work done on the hammer cage throughout the last day and this morning, so thanks to those volunteers for making sure those athletes and those able to come into the ground are safe.
So now you see the great facilities, and here, this is Alexander Hewitt. He's got a personal best of 57.45. He's just 15 years of age. Again, set that PB at that solar power meet in February. Oh, Nathan.
Now that's a red flag, because what he's done is he's passed the invisible line between the two uprights. So he didn't jump, but it does count as a jump.
Whoa. Good start by Hewitt. Just reminding that Hewitt actually set, as I say, it's a PB not that long ago with that solar power meet. Again, that meeting that Shaka Solar runs, and got the standing to go with it as well. And there we see the field coming up for the under-18 women over 1,500 metres. And almost as if on cue, as we hit the 1,500 metres, Hayden Shearman has appeared near the commentary position. It's like he's drawn like a moth to the flame.
Like a moth to the flame of the 1,500 metres.
Did someone say middle distance? They're calling me. Hayden will be part of the commentary. As you see some of our athletes over there by the 300 metre mark, preparing. It's a wonderful. Alexander Hewitt, by the way, with his first throw in the hammer, 55.66. So, straight away, he's into his work, and not that far away as well from his personal best, just less than 2 metres out. Here's Ethan Bone.
2:01.
Yes, yes, that's delivering, and you've got every right to be chuffed, young man. Look at the smile.
That was a great jump, a great clearance, and his previous personal best was 197, so to get over that 2 metre mark is just sensational.
That's the reason why you saw so much joy, that amazing barrier for a high jumper to clear 2 metres for the first time.
Oh, that's
what an
so
outstanding performance. What an outstanding jump.
Big PB, 4 centimetres, that's huge. And just look at him here, keeping that right shoulder high. Oh.
Flawless. That is just delightful.
What's he going to put the bar to?
Yeah, well, now here's the thing. He's broken that bar. We saw yesterday, we saw the same with Adam Stack. He cleared 2 metres for the first time, and then he backed it up. That was the impressive part. It's quite easy just to... I suspect you'll see that mum and dad might just be on the other side, so just giving the thumbs up.
Oh, isn't that great? Yeah, so a lot of parents, as we go to the start line here, we're away.
Well, I can tell you too, by the way, Levi Pupuali has just thrown 58.83 in the under-18 men's hammer. And so we are now underway. It's the first of a couple of heats of the 1,500. Of course, it is one of those wonderful events, a big blue ribbon event. And so, as we have a look, currently leading them through, that's Rosaria Gibson. I think you'll find there's a few of, it's Kyra Hall, who had a good run yesterday. In fact, I think if we look at it, I think that could actually be our podium, because that's Elspeth McInnes of Canterbury in third. So those are all 3 athletes coached by Angie and Sam Petty. And it was lovely to have Angie as part of the commentary for the 800 metres yesterday. Very proud. Got slightly distracted because those 3 young ladies at the front of this particular race, very keen to sort of give her a wave and have a bit of a chat after achieving a 1-2-3 in the 800. Right now it's Rosaria Gibson just pacing through this field. Come down, they'll have a couple of through the 200 metres, so they've still got 2 more laps to go as they come down here.
Just a quick note that the high jump, the bar's gone to 2:06.
Ooh. Just for anyone wondering, thinking, oh, what's standards? What's standards for Worlds? That's 2:15 for an under 20 athlete. Of course, what we're watching here is under 18. Here he is, Ethan Bone, 2:06. First attempt. We'll just go over.
Just those first few attempts, he's just seeing this height for the first time in competition. So he'll just need to come back, steady himself again, keep to his routine.
So it's Gibson, Hall, and McGuinness just working through now. We're seeing it's a little bit of a move from a Waikato Bay of Plenty athlete. Wondering if that's Lulu Johnson. And it is. Lulu just pushing to the outside there, just trying to get in the middle of this little Canterbury freight train that's leading at the moment. They move through, they're coming down. Still 450 metres to go. They'll get the bell this time round. Just continuing to do the work out front, though, at the moment is Rosaria Gibson. Kyra Hall sitting there, Lulu Johnson. Just on the outside shoulder there, just being pushed out. I'd say facing the breeze, but there isn't any. It's just a beautiful day. Now Johnson just ups the tempo slightly. Goes up to the shoulder, final lap. Also getting into the mix here now too is Zara Pomfret of Auckland. And it's Zara that's fourth in the line at the moment. So it's the three Cantabrians. Lulu Johnson out of Waikato Bay of Plenty. Zara Pomfret of Auckland. Gibson continues to pace them. Now we see the move starts to come from Kyra Hall down the outside. 3:16. Starting to push the pace a little bit. And those three have pushed away. It's Hall and Gibson. Stride for stride. Johnson can't go with them. Gibson and Hall. Shoulder to shoulder. Straight match race. Perfectly in sync with their stride as well. Two mates. Don't want to give an inch. Still pushing on the inside is Gibson. Hall still battling. They come down to the line. It's going to be Gibson from Hall, and McGuinness comes through. And it's another 1, 2, 3 for the Cantabs. What an outstanding race.
Oh, that was so great. It was just so wonderful to see them stride for stride. And how many times have they done that in training together? And then they do it here in the National Championship final.
Great effort. And I'm sure that yesterday she was slightly muted, Angie Petty, because she was commentating at the time. I suspect she's given the lungs a very good clean out.
Yeah,
Opportunity to be able to scream and shout there.
I can see her running around from the 1,500 metre start right round to the finish
She
line.
is
Here
actually
she comes.
well chuffed. Looking resplendent in a lovely yellow sundress as well, it must be said too. Very happy indeed.
The arms go out. Good on you, Angie.
So now as we look back over to the hammer throw, we're seeing some really good performances coming in there. Here's Ethan Bone. 2:06. That one there just flicked the bar down. So 2:06, he's got one more opportunity. Here's Ethan. There you see it. Rosaria Gibson. 4:32.42. Just 1/10 ahead of a good friend and provincial teammate. We'll set the second heat underway very shortly. So it's a very good performance. Just keeping an eye on the hammer throw that's going as well. We've got Canon Peruri out of Whangarei. He's currently in the cage. There you see the athlete. There he is. Good throw in and around that 50-metre mark from Cannon. The official says yes. I approve. He's done everything right within the circle. It's great to see some representatives from Athletics Whangarei. Now he's Bone. That's his final attempt. And we're underway in the second heat of the under-18 women's 1,500 metres. It'll be interesting to see how this race plays out. Thank Sarah Cowley-Ross for her commentary this morning. We'll hear more from Sarah over the course of the weekend. And the pace for the second heat, it is fair to say, slightly more sedate than what we saw from that first heat. And sitting there, watching, taking notes, Hayden Sherman. Kia ora, my friend. Lovely to see you.
Yes, you too. I've been hearing your voice for the last couple of weeks on the cricket, so good to see you in person, and great to be back in the sunny Hawke's Bay for some athletics. 4 days of action, and we got off to a good start yesterday with a whole bunch of medals being handed out, some wonderful performances. So really cool to see these ladies lining up in perfect conditions in these 1,500 metres. So, man, I was impressed with that last 200 or so by those two Cantabrians. About 30 seconds for that last 200, so they were flying. So as you say, this one's going a little bit slower. So I went through in about 120. So that's more like sort of a tick under 5 minutes. So these are timed finals, of course. So these women are in the hunt for a potential medal if they can keep the pace honest. But yeah, at the moment it's not super quick.
So as they work their way through at the front, I think there might be Courtney Fitzgibbons who's pacing them out of Manawatu Wanganui. Just very calm and relaxed at the front there. Try and confirm numbers for you. Actually, it's Hayley Cromwell, her teammate, who's just pacing them through. Very sedate. So when you heard Hayden there talk about, combined time, so basically you look at that previous time, which was the reason why we sort of stated it. In order to get a medal, you were going to have to get underneath that time of 4:32s to win it. So they just take the two races and combine it. And I suppose it's one of those things that you'd think the challenge would be on the athletes running first, because they've got to lay down a marker, so you can't be as tactical. But I guess it sort of figures to be exactly the same thing as we see. That's a good throw in the hammer there. Oh, he's gone out the front though. That's a shame. It's got to be hard, because you're thinking, normally in a final you come to a national championships, if you get the opportunity just in a straight race, you can be a little bit more tactical. This is more of a time trial. It's a bit of a drag, isn't it?
Yeah, and you've these women have the benefit of going second, so they know the time. But my understanding is the way that the heats have been seeded, that you're coming in with your season's best time, and they're trying to get the top end of the field into one heat, and then the other half of the field into the other. So I imagine this is that other half. And so, yeah, they would have had a time to chase, and it really comes down to who's going to get after it and back themselves to run that 4:30 to get themselves into the medals.
So we've seen Courtney Fitzgibbons just sort of push to front there, and there's the bell. And they're going to have to move on the last lap. You're going to have to run that in at least 62 seconds to give yourself a shot.
Yeah, so maybe even quicker as well. So I think their time was 4:30 for Rosaria in that first heat. So, pace will need to be electric, but good to see some good acceleration from these women up the front. Definitely things are spreading out, as you can see on screen.
This is Sophia Lambert of Hawke's Bay Gisborne, pacing them through at the moment at the front, trying to track her down as Hayley Cromwell, as they've just broken away a little bit at the front of the pack. There's a little bit of a surge coming from in behind as we see another throw in the hammer. There's a really good surge coming here. I'm trying to think, it could be Abby Bolton out of Pakuranga.
It definitely looks like the Pakuranga colours, so she's made a good surge down that back straight and just coming wide, so she's going to challenge for this lead.
This is going to be a good challenge, I tell you right now. Cromwell's just bided her time, though. Now here comes Bolton. Cromwell continues to stride out. She'll ease up. She still got there to Cromwell, but that's a really nicely timed run by Abby Bolton, who's slid through to claim the second spot there.
And a great illustration of the tactics that come into play in the 1500 where, leading into the bell, you're not necessarily going to hold it, and we saw multiple lead changes and place changes in that top three. So there's just an example. One of the things your coach will tell you, run through that line and don't worry about the watch because you'll get the time eventually. But she hangs on to the lead. I don't think it'll challenge the top five placings in that previous heat, but we'll round up those results as they come through. So Hayley Cornwall with the win in 4:51. So that's about 70 seconds for that last lap. Abby Bolton in second, 4:51.96, and Sophia Lombradis in third in 4:52.
We'll just take a short break here as Sky Sports coverage of day 2 of the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championship will continue right after this here on Sky Sport Next.
Today, we are reinventing insurance. It's a game changer. Real-time intuition, light-speed empathy, a real heart and voice. It doesn't just understand what you're saying, it can feel it. Say hello to an actual human being.
Hi there.
Clinicians thinks the way your body works is fascinating. Look at what happens when you breathe. Your lungs are constantly bringing in fresh air, catching oxygen to power your body and getting rid of carbon dioxide. But in winter, our lungs may need added support. So we've created Prospan Bronchial Syrup. New Zealand's #1 natural bronchial syrup. It contains a unique ivy leaf extract to soothe the throat and help clear the airways, supporting your whole family's health this winter. Clinicians, keep your body working.
We're proud of our country, mountains and streams, our Jennian culture, our nation, our team.
Partnering with people who share your values is important. To achieve gold medals, you've got to put the hard yards in. The Jennian team share that pursuit of excellence, giving their best every day. And they get the results. Well done on 40 years, Jennian. Thanks for being the team behind the NZ team.
Welcome back. Men's under 18, 1,500 metres. It's the first of 2 heats, but again, it's timed finals. So you'll have 2 heats, and the first one primarily the stronger of the 2. You can see them over there by the 300-metre mark. A few of them have just been practicing their starts. Some others slightly more relaxed. There you see the field. Interesting to keep an eye on some of these great young athletes that we've got coming through at the moment as we head back into the throwing circle. There's Levi Popwale, who is currently leading the competition, and gee, that's another really good throw by Levi.
Yeah, looking good there from Levi. Looked strong in the circle, just holding on to his balance and nice release. Getting it up over 60 metres, which when you see it flying that far down the ground, you know you've got a solid throw on your hands. So Levi looking strong at this stage.
Just wait for that distance to come through. Updates for us. They are all done and dusted, by the way, over there at the high jump, so congratulations to Ethan Bone. First time jumping over 2 metres as well. So that lovely wee milestone broken for him.
Yeah, that's huge. Getting up over that 2 metre mark, and most people are looking up at that bar, so it's pretty impressive.
Well, it's second day in a row as well. We saw Adam Stack do exactly the same thing. He set a PB of 199, I think a matter of just over a week ago, and then he comes here and not only to clear 2 metres, but to then back it up and go even higher again. I think he got over 205.
Yeah.
So some very, very impressive performances already. We're only a day and a half into these competitions as we say focus for the first 2 days. It's been very much about our under 18 and under 20 athletes. There's been a little bit of senior involvement, mainly with regards to the race walking. And then tomorrow, it's when the senior athletes and our wonderful para-athletes get involved. So there you see, looking down the back straight, there's Christian Duval, who put in a wonderful effort yesterday, claiming gold. James Ford was also in the medals too, in the 400.
Yeah, and this is going to be an interesting battle. I've put my mark next to those two names, James Ford and Christian Duval, sort of coming into the middle. James Ford more of a 4.8 guy, so interesting to see him lining up in this 1500. But Christian Duval, he was the surprise winner of the New Zealand Secondary Schools cross-country title last year, and he's been on a tear since then, and certainly stamped his mark as one of the up-and-coming junior middle distance runners to keep an eye on.
You see he is out, stepping out, unable to maintain. That's Heath Abbott. There you are, you see them over there, preparing, getting themselves all set to go. Someone looking very relaxed, like the bandana being rocked there. Don't mind a bit of head fashion going on. That was from the young athlete there from Wakatoa Bay of Plenty. Would have been George Wiley. See, as our officials just track down here along. There it is. It is George. Officials just giving some final instructions. It's a big field. 17 athletes in this heat.
Yeah, so this will certainly be the faster of the two.
We'll step to the side, everyone happy. You can see everyone sorts themselves out. We had the waterfall starts yesterday for a couple of the 800 metre races. And there we had Angie Petty alongside, and she wasn't aware that was going to be the case. And fair to say it got a little bit rambunctious at times with the odd elbow being thrown. As we saw an incident yesterday with Louise Brabham of Manawatu Wanganui taking a tumble in one of the distance events, but then picking herself up and managed to snare herself a bronze medal in a very impressive effort from her. We continue to wait for the start of this 1500 metres. Someone just a little bit maybe too keen there.
And this is an interesting part of middle distance running. You never really practice the start, so often toes go over the line. But here we go for the start of Heat 1 of the men's under 18 1500 metres. This one's always a tactical affair, and you can see those elbows are out. There'll be scraping of shins from spikes, and as we come around this bend, this is where the pushing and shoving really begins, and we'll see how these tactics unfold. Looks like one of our Canterbury runners straight to the front. He's going to make it an honest race right from the get-go.
Well, this is part of this group again. Angie Petty was heading over to that far side. We saw her working that way. And this is a group that herself and her husband, Sam, have been working with for a wee while as we make our way down this front straight for the first time.
So James Ford just tucked in there behind the Canterbury runner, and I'll get you to confirm who that is. So James Ford looking nice and cruisy. He'll be enjoying this sort of pace. It'll feel quite slow, but he's won the North Island secondaries at this event, so he's certainly no stranger. But 103, that's a good clip. That'll mean they're on pace for just under 4 minutes, which will be up around the top end of the best of these boys.
As they move their way down that back straight, We've also got some long jump action taking place as well. I think Daniel Prescott's the man who's sort of just pacing them through at the moment. Now, another Canterbury athlete just moves up on his shoulder. It is Ford, though, who's looking very comfortable, just nestled in behind the leaders there. In fact, Prescott now opens it up a little bit and says to Ford, well, look, if you want to have a go, go and have a go. I honestly won't mind you doing that. In fact, here comes Prescott now taking to the front. So it is Prescott, Liam O'Donnell it was actually that had paced them through. So Prescott moves to the front. Ford looking really comfortable, though, in third spot. Where is Duval? Where's Duval hiding?
Just happy to sit back in that pack, playing the Nick Willis strategy there.
Just even seeing if he's actually in the group at all. I'm actually trying to spot his number. He's number 142. I can't see Christian Duval in that group. So I'm wondering if he is not actually entered or he has withdrawn.
You could be right.
Had a really big run yesterday. So there you see the long jump, which is underway, the far side. So it's still Prescott, O'Donnell, Ford, sitting very comfortably on that inside. We come around, they'll have one more lap to go, so 500 metres left. This is the first of the heats. Under 18 men's 1,500 metres. It's timed final, so we will have two heats. A lot of work being done coming around the outside there by Callum Murray of Waikato Bay of Plenty. Ford, a little bit hemmed in at the moment. Now O'Donnell looks to try and surge. A little bit of improvement in tempo coming. Luca Everett lurking around there as well.
So after that quick start, it definitely slowed up for about 500 or 600 metres, but now the pace has definitely stepped on. That bell often gives people a bit of a kick up the backside. And now our Waikato Bay of Plenty athlete just pulling away there.
Callum Murray, he went pretty early though, Hayden. That's my only concern. O'Donnell looking really comfortable. So too Ford in third at the moment. And we know Ford's got the kick.
Yeah,
a bit of pushing and shoving.
Liam O'Donnell looking really comfortable. He's got that smooth, nice rhythm, and he's really just gradually pressed down on that accelerator, and he's just pulling away from this field as they come onto the home straight now.
Here comes Ford, though. Ford to the shoulder. O'Donnell, here's Ford. We know he's got that speed. Has O'Donnell got anything in reserve? Ford in front. O'Donnell fighting hard. This is going to be a cracking finish to the line, and I think Ford's just got there. O'Donnell for second for mine. We are going to just have to confirm that. I thought the better dip, though, Hayden, came from the man on the outside wearing blue.
Yeah, brilliant racing. That was a cracking last lap. You saw just like some of those under 18 women's races, lots of chops and changes. We'll get a good view of this, see who's got the best dip on the line. It's so close, and here just the blue singlet of James Ford, who we didn't even see for the entire race until 100 metres to go. So you can see how he just stayed out of trouble, stayed back in the pack, conserved that energy, and there we are, just coming up on the screen. 3:59.74. The win goes to James Ford.
Two hundredths of a second, Hayden.
Just 200ths of a second back to Liam O'Donnell, and then it was Alex Martin coming through for third. So a good little battle for that last remaining medal. 4:01 for Alex Martin. So you can see after that pace early of sub 4 minutes, it slowed down in the middle, and then they really turned on the burners for that last 400. James Ford coming through for the win. Very impressive stuff.
Well, that was a great race. So there will be another 1,500 metre heat to go. And so those athletes, to get a medal, you're going to have to break 4 minutes. But as we say, it is very much a ranked event. So as another medal ceremony takes place, we're looking over towards the long jump. That's the under 18 long jump. Just saw Kyra McNeil competing. There we see some. There was the 400 metres from earlier today. It's Amelia Fairclough, the under 18s. Now for women's discus, there's Zoe Hall, another one of these athletes who just bounces around between the throwing events. Been competing in the javelin, now doing some discus. So, keeping an eye on all the different events that are taking place. There's a fair bit rolling through at the moment.
And just wonderful conditions. Is great to drive over the hills from Palmerston North this morning and see the sun shining here and zero wind. I can confirm that there's just nothing happening here, and just wonderful to turn up to the track and see these sorts of conditions for the end of what's been a great domestic season of summer athletics.
You just saw a shot there before, by the way, the young athlete in the blue Auckland's singlet. That is Natalia Rankin Cheetah. She is another one of these competitors who have completed a World Championship entry standard for the under-20s, and Natalia, as well as Tapanesa Javier, having set marks in both the shot put and the discus. There you saw her. There is Natalia. As we continue with the 1500 metres, brought to you by Hawke's Bay Orthodontists. And there we see our second section. White, Munro, Decker, Pugh, Manning, Hill, Johnson, O'Keefe. It's been lovely for Cullum, the opportunity to continue to race at home. It's a wonderful facility. There you go, McMeekin, O'Dwyer, Mora, Brunner, Oliver Pugh and Wilbur, another one of the local athletes in Max. That's the other thing that sort of stands out and hits you straight away. It's the size of these fields in middle distance running. Of course, we know it's always been a wonderful part of New Zealand athletics and New Zealand athletics history, but what are we talking there? Add on, what's that, 34, 35 competitors at the under 18 level?
Yeah, and all these boys will be pretty confident of getting pretty close to that time set by the final one that went through in 3:59. So the bronze medal position is set at 4:01. So that's the time that you'd need to get after. And it'll be interesting to see if anyone just goes to the front and looks to run those sub 64 second laps and just tick it off and see if they can run their way into a medal here. But yeah, just a little fall there, and that first bend in the 1500 is always a tricky one. So unfortunate for one or two athletes who have gone down and tasted the Rickerton surface here at Mitre 10.
I think that might have been Jude Deeker out of Southland. It looked like the Southland colours. He just took a nasty wee tumble. But
he's back on his feet, and he'll just need to just conserve energy, not use the adrenaline to catch up too quickly. The pace isn't too electric. We'll get a split at 400, but it looks to me like these guys haven't particularly set out on a mission to claim that time, so they go through in 106, so just a tick too slow to get yourself into those medals. There will be some boys in this field who have run sort of around the 405, 404 territory, so it would need to be a big PB and potentially a solo PB to nudge into the medals.
Well, it's Callum O'Keefe who's currently leading as they hit the 200 metre mark on their second time around the track, and it is just very much just moving along at a very, very comfortable speed. Elliot Pugh is sitting in second spot there out of Waikato Bay of Plenty. See the big figure of Thomas White there, 710, the Wellington athlete with the red hair. Pakaranga colours there, Zach O'Dwyer. No, that is not Zach, that's actually James Motter, Zach's teammate. Actually just moving through there around about 8th spot at the moment. So 2 laps to go on this one, and looking very comfortable. Sitting at front at the moment is Callum O'Keefe. Head up towards the start line again.
Let's get a split at this. So 2:14 they go through. So they've slowed up even more. So very unlikely to challenge those medal position. So now it becomes a race literally within the race. So they'll be fighting for bragging rights for this particular race that they're in, and it's gearing up to be a very fast last 500 or 600 metres as they come round this bend for the second to last time onto the home straight.
So O'Keefe looking really comfortable. So he's really been able to, I suppose, if he had a tactic or a race plan in mind, Callum's really just been able to go out and execute. He's looked very, very calm, very relaxed. Ian Pugh is now sliding into second spot there.
It's always good to see some good front running in the 1500. We saw it back in the 2016 Olympics with Matt Centrowitz, the American, claiming the win and demonstrating how you can run off a slow pace and then just ramp it up from there and just control the race from the front. So at the moment, Callum looking good, and he's just, like I say, just slowly applying that pressure. So they go through in 3:20, which means they've just slightly picked up the pace from that second lap, and he continues to lead.
Pugh now moves to the outside as we continue to watch that as Tabi Umptamposa. So at the moment it's still O'Keefe from Pugh, and they have just slid away from the chasing pack at the moment. Callum O'Keefe comes round to the top. He's run this really well, and Hayden Shearman's going to get his reward of a front-running victory here because he's moving away from Pugh, although now Pugh really trying to dig in, trying to get him in the last 50 metres, but that's a really lovely run by Callum O'Keefe. Time of, about 4:04?
That's quite impressive, given they really slowed up through those middle stages. And to get within 3 seconds of the bronze medal and front run it certainly says that there's an argument for having him in the previous race. But well done, Callum, for a brilliant display of front running. Wonderful strength. And this is his home turf. He's done his tempo runs and workouts on this, so he knows that, look, you can try and come past me on the last lap of my home ground, but you're going to have to bleed for that one. And he hung on to that lead, so very good racing there from Callum.
Well, I think, as we say, we wait for the time to come through. So it's 4 minutes 4.03. I think, as we say, it's a combined, as we just have a look at the little incident there on, we just see Jude Deaker just take that tumble, just clipping the leg.
And this is one of the aspects of middle distance running that's often overlooked, is the traffic within, particularly if it's slightly slower, the traffic you've got to navigate in the pack. Sure, you might be out of the wind, but you can really sap a lot of energy with chopping and changing and surging and getting elbowed, getting the spikes in the shins. Most middle distance runners come back with bleeding shins after these races if you've been hiding in the pack. So great to see some good racing, and look, these things happen, and it's always a good experience to taste the mondo and find yourself face planting. I've done it a couple of times. It's a good lesson on how to just keep your wits about you in the pack.
Maya Columbus, by the way, we just saw at the long jump. That was a jump of 4 metres 46 for Maya. And it's a really strong field, or good packed field that they've got for the long jump. 12 competitors in there, a few that we saw yesterday in action in sprinting events, also some we saw on triple jump. As we head back, it was Sophie Hancock there with the no jump. Slide back to Olivia Watt, who had herself a busy old day yesterday. They've got that wonderful multi-event factory down there in Canterbury. She's another one that you can switch and jump around. So here we now as the 1,500 metre action continues, and now we move to the under-20s.
Yeah, this one's going to be electric. There's a lot of big names to keep an eye out for the future in this race. Looking through, there's multiple New Zealand medalists, New Zealand age group champions. There's young Bo Ritchie there, recently crowned under-20 mile champion, but she's going to have her work cut out for her, because a lot of these girls are about to pack their bags and head over to scholarships in the States and heading to very prestigious universities. So this is the cream of the crop of a wonderful generation of ladies who are really been running wonderful races, wonderful times.
Well, I think the lady we need to keep an eye on this one, her name is Penelope Salmon. 230 is her bib number, and Penelope has already set, again, we've talked a lot about the Under-20 World Championship. She's already set a standard in not only the 1,500 but in the 3,000 metres as well. So the standard for the under-20 woman over 1,500 metres, 4:29, and just the 20th of last month, Penelope running a 4:27.28, and straight away she is the lady who is pacing them through at the front. So Penelope Salmon there.
Yeah, good to see her getting out nice and hard at the start, making it an honest race. Again, we saw some tussling, some elbows going out, and good to see everyone stayed on their feet. You can see the Brown sisters just tucked in there close to Isabella Richardson as well, who's a well-performed junior runner, just moving up on the outside. So a few strong Auckland runners in this race, and we'll see if the Cantabs can keep up as well.
So as they make their way around that top, there you see it's Penelope Salmon leading this, and straight away she gets to the 300. Their starting point, just have a wee check of her own watch and see what the time was, and she's actually looked down and she's noticeably up the tempo there, Hayden, as well. So whatever she saw on her watch, she was not happy with.
Yeah, good to see. Another example of front running. Maybe this is a weekend where we're going to see a bit of it. Certainly if the wind conditions stay light, you'll see these more strength-based athletes willing to back themselves and not come down to the lottery of the last lap. So Penelope Salmon looking nice and strong, leading things out, stringing out that field. She came second at the senior women's 3,000 metre champs on this ground. So she knows this track well and has performed very well here. So she would trust herself as the strength athlete in the field to go from the gun.
Well, Auckland now holding the first three spots. It's Salmon from Hilton. Isabella Richardson has now moved into the third spot at the moment. And that surge by Salmon really has just strung out this particular field. As she goes through again, first 800 done, 700 to go.
Yeah, Macy doing well to try to track her. You can see Isabella Richardson just there in third, wearing number 225, but that angle definitely underestimates the gap between these women. Just Penelope Salmon doing a great job setting the pace early and now pulling away with 600 metres to go. Her heels are coming up nice and high, which is a good sign. She's maintaining good cadence, good power through her stride.
She's clearly on a plan here, obviously, because she has been no thought whatsoever. She's clearly got another number in mind. Now, she has put down that A standard, as we've said. But just in terms from a selection point of view, if she could throw down another number in and around that sort of mark, it really just helps when it comes time for the selectors. She comes down, she gets the bell. She's going to come through 3:18 at the moment, and she's looking really strong, Penelope Salmon.
Bella Brown into second place has made a good move on that home straight and coming in to get the bell in a medal position. But here it is. It's all about Penelope Salmon. She's got about 15 metres back to Bella, who's actually looking quite strong, and we'll see how this back straight unfolds, because this is often where the pain is most notable, most present. If you're going to fall apart, it's on the back straight. Once you get round that last bend, you can see the home straight and really pull yourself home. But here she needs to stay tough, maintain that gap. But Penelope Salmon looking good as we get to the closing stages of the race.
Salmon with 150 metres to go as the clock ticks over 4 minutes, and Brown really trying to dig in. Salmon, as I said, she's done 4:27. Tell you what, this is going to be a really good time as she comes down. This is going to be very close.
Oh, this will be a big PB.
This is going to be a massive PB. She's coming down. She's done 4:27.28, and she is going to, I think she's done about a 4:27 or similar.
Yeah, Bella Brown comes through for second place, a well-deserved second. And Emma Ferguson, who we didn't talk about much at all during the race, running very well, coming through for third place. A lot of chopping and changing in that last 500 metres, where we saw athletes who were pulled out with that fast pace early from Penelope, couldn't hold it together, and some of those who ran a more conservative first half coming through to pick up those minor places. So Penelope Salmon takes the national title. Well, we'll wait and see, because we've still got one more race, but theoretically has a firm grasp on that gold medal.
Well, here's the thing. There's the time. So she's run 4:27.47. So a reminder, the standard for world champs is 4:29. So whilst it's not a PB, it's only 2/10 slower than a PB that she set on the 20th of February. So she's dipped under that mark again. Bella Brown only a second outside as well. So she's dragged her along. But I think if you're... I know in terms of selection there's a lot of things that go into it, but you break the standard once, that's a pretty good sign. You break it twice, Hayden Shearman, you could maybe sort of at least pull the suitcase out of the wardrobe and lay out a couple of items.
Definitely make sure your passport's ready to roll.
Make sure the passport's ready.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was phenomenal front running and another display of great front running. And it shows you if you turn up strong, knowing that you're the class athlete, just take the variables out of the equation because there's no wind. It's perfect running conditions this morning. So why not get after it? Why not tempo run it from the start and make the others bleed to catch you, as the great Steve Prefontaine used to say.
Yeah, but what she's done, though, is she has dragged Bella Brown as well. And so Bella's probably going to go and she's going to think, hey, look, I'm probably going to get a silver medal in this particular event. But she can also look at that and she goes, hang on, I'm only a second out. And I was closing in on Penelope there. So you just wonder whether Bella's thinking to herself, look, maybe have I got an opportunity to get a little bit closer to that standard? And I'm sure those young ladies more than likely do a little bit of work and training together. But that's what you like to see. And we were talking about a fair bit yesterday with Sarah and with Terry, and when Angie came up as well. We were talking about legacy, obviously, and following the retirement of the great Dame Valerie Adams. But when it's again, the other thing too is when you have a peer who is clearly that good class two, they have the ability as well to drag people with her as well. And I thought that was a really neat example of Bella, who we know she's part of a quality running family. Her sister's no mug at all, sort of with the spikes on the feet. But you just sense as though like she timed her run really, really well, working off the pace that Penelope was set. Here we go again.
Definitely. So here we go into the boys. So that was actually the straight final. So that was our national champion and medalist. So we dive straight into this men's under 20 1,500 metres. And you can see there, wearing the blue of Auckland, Zane Powell. He's the man to keep an eye on. He's just been on an absolute tear the last couple of years. I don't know how many national titles he's already got to his name. There he is in the middle of the field, number 218. So he'll be the one that everyone will be looking for. Also keep an eye for Yako Torhaya and also Ethan Smollett from Canterbury, who's got a good solid 3:56. He's medalled in the 800 metres before as well, so he'll have a good kick. And at the moment, Zane Powell just being prepared to sit back in the pack, not do the front running that we've talked about. But look, it's worked for James Ford earlier in the under-18s. So Zane at the moment just tucking in.
As we see some more action coming from that long jump as it continues. You see them working down the back straight. Straight final. So he's just sitting at the back there. Ben Hennessy, who had a good run in the 800 yesterday. Just cruising along there, the man with the moustache at the back. You just saw the throw of Natalia Rankin Cheetah. She is another athlete who has set a qualifying standard for the under-20s. Natalia having done it on both the shot put and the discus, along with Tapanessa Javier. So they go 5 wide.
Yeah, breaks really going on, and I love this sort of stuff. I love the front running, but I also love this tactic.
This is a Sunday morning bunch run. Come on, Hayden.
Yeah, and so we saw a bit of a surge at the start, and then the brakes went on, and now they go with 2 laps to go, and there's a bit of an acceleration.
So as they move through to the front, that's Charlie Hazlitt out of Canterbury now, who decided that he just wanted something a little bit more sprightly. Joshua Gill of Tasman sitting in behind. Now, I think that is Josh Howe of Otago, who's also moving up there as well, but Powell just lurking.
Yeah, and it was great to see Zane Powell take out that 800 metres yesterday, which is a bit of a surprise. To my mind, he's been more of a 1500 sort of 3K guy, but good to see him working on that speed and winning a national title at the 800. It really sets him up to be set his sights on becoming a world-class miler.
Well, this 800 experience, I think, is going to set up nicely with the tempo of this particular race.
Here he comes. So as we jump back to the pole vault, Zane Powell is moving to the front. So we've got 3 minutes on the nose, and stepping out with Charlie Hazlitt just on his left. So it's Charlie and Zane Powell. Charlie doesn't want to give up that lead. He wants to hold the shortest line to the finish line, make Zane work a little bit harder running in lane 2. But now Zane takes over. He moves into first place. He knows this position, and he's looking comfortable at the moment.
Carsten Vesti, though, just sitting very comfortable. I think Carsten's name we haven't mentioned as we got just on 175 to go. Powell really trying to stride out. Vesti going with him. Hazlitt hanging really tough, the Cantab. Now the heat might just be getting to him. But it's Powell. It's Vesti. Vesti with a bit of acceleration.
Here we go.
He'd love to win this one in front of the home crowd. Can they bring him home? Carsten Vesti to the outside of Powell. Straight match race. Vesti. Vesti's going to do it on home soil.
Oh, yes. Wow. You know, you're right. We didn't talk enough about Carsten Vesti, and what a finish. I did not see that coming. You would think Zane Powell, with the success that he's had this summer, with winning the 800, you would back him over the last 400. But Carsten, with the he's probably got a broken wrist there. Maybe that added a little bit of leverage for the arm drive. But wonderful kick there from Carsten. Certainly timed it right. And maybe that surge that Zane put in with 500 metres to go just allowed Carsten to have the better of him in the back straight. Look at these scenes.
Well, he was able to sit in the pack. Zane had done it as well. Zane sort of sat in the pack and then sort of popped out with about 500 to go and sort of pushed. I wonder whether the fact that Hazlitt really responded when they took the bell. We saw Charlie Hazlitt, who got bronze, and I think that's quite deserving too. He did a lot of work, able to hold off there Ryan Cottery, but Charlie really went, and so Zane had to go sort of a little bit harder to try and get around him, and Carsten was just sitting in behind with a nice little windbreak. Then those two guys do some work in front of him, and that was a really good 1,500 metre race.
Yeah,
really
so
good.
3:54, so that means they ran that last lap in about 54 seconds. So that's quick off already a pretty honest pace. So well done to those boys. Brilliant racing. And once again, we have another great performance from one of our local runners.
Well, it must be just such a buzz, and we know that we've been able to come here the last couple of years. Here's the bar at 4:03 for the pole vault. It's Cole Gibbons. There's a bit of pedigree when it comes to track and field. Of course, Cole, Gibbons family. There you see Zoe Hall, who's competing at the moment in the discus. Let's make our way back. That's Nev Beattie in the long jump. Currently sitting 9th in that very big field. Waiting for Zoe Hall. See if her number comes up. 31.47, 31 metres, 47 centimetres for Zoe Hall as Scarlett Kirby jumps in. So Scarlett now. Yes, she just clips the side of the cage. And Sarah Cowley, Ross slides back in. Hayden Sherman. One job, does middle distance. He's off. He's done enough. He's going for a coffee and a lie down.
He's probably going for a run, actually.
Hey, that's the reason. That's the reason why you always have a multi-eventer in your commentary team.
Oh, it's so great to have Hayden here.
It is great to have Hayden here, and I mean just the enthusiasm and the knowledge he brings when it comes to those middle distance events, and that really was a great run by Carsten Vesti, Zane Powell, but just the depth of potential in New Zealand athletics. I was having a discussion with a friend of mine, and we don't want to get too excited in terms of, I think there's a difference between depth of talent and depth of potential. I think we've got an increasing talent pool, Sarah Cowley, Ross, and you see this more having watched these athletes coming through. But in terms of depth of potential, there's a really strong case to make that, New Zealand potentially has got some wonderful, deep, rich talent just brewing along beautifully at the moment if they choose to continue to maintain the sporting interest.
Yeah, and that's right, is that developing that pool of talent, of interest, keeping these young 18-year-old, under 18 and under 20 athletes in the sport. That's why I've been so thrilled to see athletes do lots of different events. I think that's really cool, and that's what they should be doing at this level. We want them to enjoy the sport, to stay in the sport, and to see a pathway. And events like Oceanias, we've talked a lot about World Juniors, but Oceanias is a critical event for the development of this pool of capacity, this pool of potential that we see, that can see a future for representing New Zealand, or even just enjoying the sport. There's nothing wrong with that.
So the bar set at 4:03 is Rankin Cheetah just overbalances, goes out the front of the throwing circle. Just clipping at 4:03. It's Cole Gibbons. That was his last attempt. He has won that particular event.
Busy morning for Cole.
As we go back to Zoe Hall. So another one sort of mixing and matching in the throwing department here, Zoe. And the Taranaki. And that one there. That'll be around the 30 metre mark, maybe just shy. Currently sitting in 5th spot at the moment. Here we see a wonderful photographer wandering through.
She usually has the live stream in one ear. I was talking about her yesterday. She was pretty quick to send me a message.
How can she do that? Like, she's got cameras just hanging off her. She's got a backpack as well.
Many talents, Alicia Loveridge.
Where does she find the time? Goodness gracious me.
Oh, the energy. She would have been up all night editing day one photographs, but she loves it.
I can tell you right now, some of the snaps that we saw from day one as I was just scrolling through a few things last night, just trying to get a bit ahead on some of the events we'll be covering today and over the course of the weekend as Abby Moody wanders into the throwing circle. The pitches, as always, high quality. There's Moody, who did a great job yesterday in the Javelin. She just catch the edge there and up. Now again, another attempt. And the pole vault. It's on 6. Just working through. We've got a computer where we can sort of just work our way through all these different events. It's just finding where they all are, whether it's Alt 5 or Alt 3, or in this case, Alt 1 for the discus.
Just definitely not Control Alt Delete. Okay?
Definitely not Control Alt Delete.
Stay away from that one.
So 200 metres now. Here's the distance runners make way for the first heat of the under 18 women's 200. And you see Georgia Rope, Tika Randall, who we've already seen in action today, Jael Collette, Maya Columbus, and Madison Rattray. Has already been over competing at the long jump this morning. There is Natalia Rankin Cheetah.
Wow, that is a beautiful whip on that discus.
For under 20s, ranking qualifying mark of 48.5. Well, she has already done that. In fact, Natalia actually has a performance of 51.66. And she has 47.96. That last throw by Natalia Rankin Cheetah. And she leads at the moment in the under 20 women's discus. We don't have Vanessa Javier. competing at this particular event. Here is Zoe Hall. White flag.
He is happy, but he's a bit like I think his immediate thought was fine.
Just waiting for that distance to come through as you see some more of the heats, some more of the start lists. We've seen Amelia Fairclough in action as well. Yes, now we head over to the start-finish line as everyone, or the start of the 200 metres as everyone just makes their adjustments. We see both of the Collette sisters in there. We saw claim silver and bronze yesterday in the 100 metres.
Gosh, they were great, weren't they?
Scarlett Kirby in the throwing circle. Wow, there was those times we were talking about with great speed coming through. Must be great.
Wonderful to have a training partner in your sister. Oh, there we go at the pole vault.
It's a good effort. That's Ruben Vogel. It's a clearance of 3:28. Kirby there, by the way, in the throw of, it was 4:18. Computer not just updating quick enough here. Here we go with Abby Moody. We saw her put in a great performance in the disc and the javelin yesterday. Really ripping that one out as well as Abby. Currently sitting in third spot at the moment. So 200 metres, so broken down in 2 heats. There is Abby Moody out of Canterbury. A great representation as always by the Red and Blacks. They've had a great, I mentioned yesterday, great track and field history. Just waiting for that distance as you see there, the first heat. 41.64 for Abby Moody, so she stays in third spot at the moment as we head over to the 200 metre mark, and there you can see, briefly could see, as we come back to Elizabeth Hewitt of Wellington. And that one just rattles the side of the throwing cage. So it's Wisniewski, Waikato Plenty is in lane number 1. Emily Jackson of Canterbury outside of her in lane number 2. Maddie Kelso Heap of Auckland is in lane 3. Madison Rattray, Waikato Plenty is in lane 4. Tabia Pomsa of Hawke's Bay Gisborne, lane 5. Adria Colette, Manawatu Wanganui in lane number 6. Michaela Fitty, Tasman, lane 7. And then Shael Colette, Manawatu Wanganui in lane number 8. Yes. Another good throw by Natalia Rankin Cheetah on that one there. Could be very close to 60 metre mark. Don't be put off by the 80. It's just a cone just sitting next to the actual marker. So Natalia with the advantage at the moment. As we just wait for the start of that 200 metres heat. So top 3 plus the 2 fastest non-automatic qualifiers. 48.71 again from Natalia Rankin Cheetah. Over to Ruben Vogel at the pole vault. We are now just waiting for this first heat to get underway. So now they take their block. So it's Wisniewski, Jackson, Kelso Heap, Rattray, Tabia Pomsa, Colette, Fitty, Colette. Lanes 8 out of lane 1 through to 8.
Running for a place in the final.
And away. Good even start as well. Adria Colette getting out very nicely in lane number 6. Also looking on the inside there, Emily Jackson going nicely. It's going to be the Colette sisters who are going to lead them into the back straight, and it's lanes 8 and 6. Jael on the outside, Adria on the inside, and these two going to power away. They're going to do it comfortably. Easy as you like. Shael from Adria. 1-2 for the Colettes.
1-2. Pack your bags up. Come back for the final.
Got that third spot, though. The third automatic spot, excuse me. It was Michaela Fitty. 24.2.
24.25.
Well, that's a qualifying standard.
Yeah, yep.
24.4 is the qualifying standard for Worlds for 200 metres, and Shael Collette has done that.
And let me just tell you, the wind was plus 1.4. Congratulations, Shael Collette. What a run from the outside. World Junior qualifier. Boom.
Michaela Fitty, the third of the automatic qualifiers, and then the next best time from Maddie Kelso-Heap of Auckland, 26.33. And we'll just put that little note down. So, back over to the long jump. Where Madeline Thomas, who's one of these great multi-eventers, continues to work through. So I can tell you that in the women's discus, Natalia Rankin Cheetah, 48.71. Elizabeth Moody of Wellington, 41.74. Abby Moody, 41 metres, 64 centimetres, so only 10 centimetres behind Elizabeth is Abby. Scarlett Kirby, 33 metres, 8 centimetres, and Zoe Hall, 31 metres, 47. So Natalia Rankin Cheetah showing her class, but a great battle. Elizabeth Hewitt and Abby Moody.
10 centimetres. Brilliant.
Here we go again with our second heat
Oh.
for Amelia Fairclough, as we see Ruben Vogel. Back over to the 200, and we are underway. We've seen Amelia Fairclough be very impressive though thus far. Coming up on the inside as well, named Getty of Wellington, but it is Fairclough who's going to lead them through. Tika Randall running nicely in lane number 1 as well. Fairclough looking very comfortable, but Randall pushing through on the inside. I do suspect maybe, though, that Fairclough just has decided I'm going to cruise that one a little bit and save some energy. I've already run a 400 or so today. Mind you, so's Tika Randall, but she's gone very nicely there. So it's Randall, Fairclough, 1-2, 25.27. Amelia Fairclough, 25.71. She is also through. Who's claimed that third automatic spot? It's Mai Diaga of Waikato Bay of Plenty. I'm Getty, 25.98. So that gets her through. But Bella Willis, 26.42. It was 26.33 in the previous. So, Tika Randall through, Amelia Fairclough through, Mai Diaga through, and I'm Getty of Wellington also will get through as one of the two fastest non-automatic qualifiers, and that win just a nice 1.1, plus 1.1. Great conditions for our sprinters, but the story of the 200-metre heat so far, Shael Collette with a under-20 World Championship qualifying effort underneath the standard. Reminder, the standard is 24.4 and she's run 24.2.
Brilliant running there by those two heats. Now just a reminder that final will go off at 2:35 this afternoon.
And the use of the term go off, very specific from Sarah Cowley-Ross, because it could go off because they ran nicely. She was in lane number 8. It did look like there was just a hair more there.
Yeah, and from her sister too. You know, they switched around yesterday places in the heat. Will they do it again in the final? We will see at 2:35.
Because they were second and third behind Talia Van Rooyen.
Saw her in action in the
100.
hurdles this morning.
Yep.
Great to see.
And so a reminder, we've got the Under-20 World Championships of 2022 taking place in Cali. So, qualification period. If you're interested, there's still a month left of the qualifying period. It's from October the 1st, 2021 through to April the 3rd of this year. So, These athletes with still time, just on a month to be able to put some qualifying marks down. Although in terms of, I guess, of event availability, I guess that will be the next thing for some of those athletes if they do decide they wanted to. With the borders opening, maybe there could be something over in Australia. But, look, that's, again, that comes down to the investment. You've got to be willing to be able to invest that. So that would be nice. But so there you go, just so if you're wondering. So April the 3rd, the cut-off period there for those standards that need to be reached.
And it's, these are tough standards, so it's great to see the team size growing over the weekend.
Oh, that's a good jump there from Sophie Hancock. White flag. That's the under-18 women's long jump. Ruben Vogel.
Coached by James Stein, who is outstanding senior men's pole vaulter. He'll be in action over the weekend, but it's one of our up-and-coming coaches. And it's great to see him giving back to the sport. His young charge here. Well, great order. That's
something that's actually really just stood out. I knew there were some athletes, current athletes, and we're talking about athletes who are still very competitive. And, we spoke yesterday with regards to when we saw Toby Robb competing about how Tori Peters is working alongside Debbie Strange, coaching that young javelin thrower. Names just keep popping up over the course of the first day and a half. Names of athletes, good athletes, still very much you would say in the prime, who are already starting to mentor and tutor young athletes coming through.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's a real opportunity for both the athlete and the coach. In that way, for the coach, the current athlete, they have a position to give back, to feel like they're passing on their knowledge that they've accumulated, and the athlete not only has technical knowledge but has a mentor, has a real look at someone who is doing it and being able to give back at the same time. It's really great to see.
We just saw some of those athletes. One athlete there doing the hair, getting the old. Is it it's not the French braid? What's the plate? What's the name that you call there? Where you sort of the plate and you pull it back in.
Oh gosh, I missed that.
I'm not.
I have to see it again.
I should know it.
Like the power plates that we saw.
Yes.
Yeah.
Power plates. There we go. That's another way.
Yeah, we sort of named them the power plates over our Olympic coverage. But French braid.
Is that what
French
it is?
French braid, I could say. French braid pigtails. Obviously, I can't do that with my daughter and her mullet now. Bit tricky.
I know the frozen plait.
The frozen?
Frozen plait.
Yeah,
so I don't know what, again, I don't know what it is actually called. It's either known as in our house, it's the frozen plait or the Elsa plait.
The Elsa plait, yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah, there's a difference, okay? Just, you came to us for athletics, but we're giving you all sorts here in the Hawke's Bay. I did see in that young under-18 1500, a lot of the girls in the power plate. So there we go.
There we go. That's what we're referring to there.
Getting it right, getting it set for the day. Does look quite tight. You don't want to get a headache.
Well, we see the Black Ferns obviously do a lot of that there as well. Speaking of which, just while we got a wee break in proceedings here on Sky Sport Next. Ruben could head to the Netherlands with that kind of a form. Just while we do just have a break as we get set for the next events in the 200 metres, which will be the under-18 200 men's. Just a quick shout-out and all the best to Sophie Devine, Susie Bates, Melia Kerr, Maddie Green, all the rest of the White Ferns, Katie Martin. They start their campaign today. Just a quick shout out to them. I was lucky enough to be able to speak with Sophie Devine recently, talking about a whole manner of things relating to cricket. And it was extraordinary. Her talking about how she started out playing, and she was based at Darwin down in Wellington there, and she was just playing with the guys, and she didn't even realise that there was women's cricket. When she got asked, do you want to go to like a national competition? She didn't even realise it. And when you look back now, it's kind of embarrassing that a young lady wasn't aware that there were females playing that particular sport, because obviously been played for a very, very long time. We've got a really rich history, but now you look at from when she first came in, and she came in when she was like 16, 17, debuted against Aussie, have some of that in Australia, and now you look what she has done and the progression in that particular sport, and just wish them all the best. She's a great chat, great sense of humour.
Yeah, let's go the White Ferns, and all the best to the organisers of the Cricket World Cup, the hoops that they've had to jump through to get this off the ground. Particular shout out to Liz Dawson, who's a friend of mine, the chair of the LOC. It's a wonderful to think we've got a feast of cricket coming up, and also the opportunity, like you say, Nigel, for these young girls to see their heroes out there, just like these young women on the track in the field have seen through this coverage.
I'm actually going to pull you back. I'm just going to say young people.
Young people.
Because...
Correct.
Because and I know there was a bit made of a certain story, but Sophie was telling me about other young guys walking up to her, and she said in Australia. And she actually thought someone had set her up. and it was young people, this young guy come out, Sophie, can I say hello? I love watching you play. As we're over now on the 100 metres, let's get back to our on-field action. Looking for Asher Pinnacle Brand, who's already had a busy old day, and he's on the inside lane, and he's running really nicely. Look there for the outside lane of Jack Sadler. He's going nicely, but Asher Pinnacle Brand just easing away now. He's just going to slow down a touch. That's a nice run by Asher at the inside there for Canterbury. And he comes through. As we have a look and see what time he has put down. So we've seen him in hundreds and hurdles. 22.44. Ethan Lakatole of Auckland with 22.72. Ben Ward of Auckland 22.79. There's Kyle McNeil on the long jump. So yeah, and that's the thing. And again, we talk about the likes of Dame Valerie. Valerie, yes, she inspired young ladies, but she also inspired quite a few young men to get involved in the sport too. And that's what I read. As a dad who's got one of each, I'm not really worried who inspires my children.
Yeah, as long as they're inspired.
As long as they're inspired by good human beings. And I think in the two examples we have just given, in terms of Dame Valerie Adams, Sophie Devine, good human beings. Portia Woodman's another one I know. There's quite a few young wingers who wouldn't mind playing the way that Portia Woodman does. So as long as you've got people who, if you want to look at them on the field, that's great. They just seem to be good human beings, and we're really spoiled at the moment.
We are.
Really spoiled.
And we're lucky that we have such strong role models in our athletes, men and women, like you say, Nigel, and it's equally important and wonderful to see.
Natalia Inablaza of Canterbury there in the long jump. Yeah, I think it's just nice. We see them on the field, and of course you don't know these people sort of intimately, but just when you meet them and they seem like good, decent human beings, that just makes it really good. 4.78 for Natalia, who sits third in the long jump at the moment, as we've got our next heat in the under-20s. We've got Ben Lambert. He's in lane number 2. Ryan Shotter, lane number 4. Good run on the 100. Liam McKellar of Auckland, lane 5. Ryan Noom, another Hawke's Bay Gisborne athlete in lane 6. Sebastian Ferro of Otago. And Joe Box. And they're in and away. That's a really good start by Shotter. Lambert, though. Be interested to see how Lambert goes, because he was really good in the latter half of the 100 metres. Ben turns. He's currently in third spot at the moment, but it's the two home athletes, Noom and Shotter. They're going to canter through. I think coming with a really good, strong finish as well, there was Liam McKellar. And that is 1, 2, and 3.
Great to see the Hawke's Bay Gisborne athletes out here on their home track, showing up in great shape. Just loving it.
I like the combined kit as well. You've got the black and white of Hawke's Bay. There's that nice little dash of red, Poverty Bay, in and around there. Like to see that. So here is Sophie Hancock at the moment, who is leading. 22.24 for Noom. Ryan Schotter with 22.89 and Liam McCullough at 23 flat. Sophie Hancock, feet quite buried there. Legal jump, says our officials. As a wee look, she's just looking down, probably just seeing where the feet were on the takeoff board. Well, you see the feet really go down.
It's a good depth of sand in the pit. Just as those long jumpers extend their legs, they're really trying to slide into the pit to really maximise their jump
5:03,
distance.
5 metres, 3 centimetres for Sophie Hancock with that last run. Sorry there. So there is Emily Jackson, sort of bouncing between the track and the long jump area is Emily. Emily sitting in 6th spot at the moment. Again, it's another legal jump in the eyes of our officials. And again, Emily just sitting there, shaking the head. I guess she's looking to see what sort of mark maybe there is on the board, just trying to get a bit of a feel as to where maybe she was taking off for. Or do you think that's the reason for the shake of the head there, Sarah?
I think they were telling her the measurement was the shake of the head. But I think, slightly slowing down into her takeoff, so she can get that sorted, slam her foot down on the board, let it fly.
4.68 for Emily, and now her provincial teammate, Maya Columbus, getting ready to go. Yeah, there was a shortish step just as she was getting ready to hit the board there. Just the run-up, I think, might have been slightly off.
Yeah, and the chop into the board for that final stride is actually, that's okay, because it forces you your hips to come up through the takeoff and extend through into the pit. But unfortunately there, just not quite getting that extension off the board that she really, really wanted.
So that's a 4 metre, 7 centimetre jump by Maya Columbus. And you see again some of the coaches, administrators who are in for this particular event. As I say, it was sort of a little bit disappointing, but also quite heartwarming to see the parents outside unable to come in. So if you are one of the parents who are maybe watching the live stream outside, thank you for your companionship. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here on Sky Sport Next.
I have to say the cafe is full of parents. They've got it on there, and it's a bit of a buzz in there, which is really cool to see.
Well, maybe we need to go over and suggest maybe they need to get a TV into the cafe.
Well, they have.
Get a big screen. They've got the live screen going. Good on them. Well played.
They haven't got the sound on, but the parents have all got their phones out, having the sound on their phone, but listening to watching the big screen TV in the cafe. So
good on them. That's good work. Here is Madeline Thomas. She is down. And that's the jump of Madeline Thomas. Hands on hips as she looks back.
Another athlete who's had a busy weekend.
I'll be interested to see what happens with the multi-eventers. There seems to be a really good, strong core again coming through. I believe we've got Aaron Booth competing on the weekend as well.
Yeah, and it's great for the decathletes and heptathletes to be in the main program.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that, because normally there's a combined events weekend. It is very much separate to the normal track and field. So from the multi-eventers' point of view, nice that they're part of it. It's a bit more traditional, I suppose.
Yeah, it's great. That's what happens at major championships and at Australian championships as well. But I guess for our New Zealand athletes, having the two separate weekends allows them to do both, and also helps fill up lots of the fields because they're doing so many events usually at National Track and Field Champs. But bringing them into the main program. I remember a number of years ago that we were in the main program, and it's so nice because usually there's not so many people around a heptathlon and decathlon, and it's really great to see the combined eventers in the main program.
So here we are, the heats of the women's under 20s over 200 metres. Molly Cockram of Canterbury. As we step back to the long jump, and this is Kyra McNeil of Otago, currently sitting in 5th in the rankings at the moment. Good extension through that. You see Kyra. Look down, watch them as they do the measurement.
Not sure if that was a... oh, no, that's confirmed. Not so happy with that one, but...
Well, that's the thing you like. They don't, you know exactly where everyone sort of sits. They don't hide the emotions. Nothing wrong with that as we watch Nadia Evans just practicing a warm-up for the 200 metres. She'll be running out of lane 4, Nadia. Back to Emily Jackson.
There's a Bernice Cullen, nice little hug there from Brent Ward in the same bubble, let's just add, masked up.
So here is Jackson, currently sitting in 6th spot at the moment in the women's under 18 long jump.
Oh, really good on the runway.
She's obviously, we've seen that. You often see sort of the long jumpers and sprinters. She's already been in some sprinting action this morning. Interested to see. She looks a little bit more pleased with that jump. 4 metres 83, 4 metres 83 centimetres for Emily Jackson. So they're getting set for that first heat of the 200s as well, just as we concentrate on this under 18 women's long jump. If you are just joining us, second day of the Jennian Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championships. First 2 days very much about the under 18, under 20 athletes. Tomorrow the seniors and the paras. Here's Piper Everson. White flag. Happy with the foot placement.
It's always just a straight back. Oh, look, see what flag you're getting. Seems somewhat happy.
We'll wait and see. She's currently listed at 5th place at the moment. 5 metres. It's put her up to 3rd.
There you go.
5 metres 3 centimetres for Piper Everson. And that sees her pop up the rankings and into a medal position now. So here we see Natalia Girablaza. Sitting and waiting. We've got a medal ceremony coming up very shortly for the 1500 metres. And they have made a very good selection in terms of who should give the medals. It's a good, red.
So in these final rounds of the long jump, these girls are really trying to push how close they get onto the front of the board. And obviously that was too far there.
It looked like a very good leap as well too.
Yeah, she's a bit disappointed with that. It's written all over her face. Here's Georgia Gibbons though. What can she do?
Takes a big deep breath. Here we are. This is the 200 metres. So you see. You're going to swap with me. So you're going to go back with Macy and Katie. Our athletes getting ready. Here we see Georgia Gibbons. She's currently in 2nd spot. And we are underway. Here is Nadia Evans. Also in this field as well, Cockram, Hewitt, Vogel, Rule and Bond. And on the inside is Hayley Bond. It's Bond and Evans. Jessica Vogel in the outside, but Evans just cantering at the moment. So too is Bond. Vogel will come through and claim 3rd. Hewitt in 4th. That's nice. Comfortable run there by Nadia Evans. Georgia Gibbons has just gone into the lead. 5 metres 45 centimetres.
Now, we've talked a lot about Georgia Gibbons' father, but actually we haven't talked about her mother, which is remiss of us, Megan Merrilies, who was also a nationally ranked.
As Hancock responded.
Hancock, yes. Sorry.
Let's go back. Where is the flag? White flag. Yes, it is.
Okay, so Georgia Gibbons' mother, Megan Merrilies, national hurdler back in her day, keen competitor, and now gives back coaching in the Otago region. Oh, she looks happy.
So, Sophie Hancock, 5 metres 41. 5:41 for Hancock.
It's Georgia
Not
Gibbons.
enough, and it's Georgia Gibbons delivering.
Last round, how good.
There you go. Here she is with Cara McNeil. Big smiles on their faces. National champion, under 18 women's long jump. Georgia Gibbons. There you see that Canterbury trio again on the podium. And I like the fact that New Zealand Athletics got Angie Petty to present, not only in her role as an outstanding middle distance athlete herself, but also kind of nice too, given that those three ladies are all part of the Petty coaching group. I'm sure Angie will be well stoked with that. So now get set for the next heat in the under 20 women's 200 metres. Georgia just packing up. She's had a really good days out.
Great shot of the old Nike super shoes at the moment. Seen lots of athletes wearing them over the weekend.
So we now wait for this event to start. We've got Julia Burnham starting out of lane number 5 in a Canterbury. We've seen her competing a fair bit. Mia Powell, just in front of you there. Here again having run really nicely in the 400.
Just met her mum Jane in the cafe. Very happy with the coverage.
It's always nice. It's always such a challenge, because not just because there are so many events, but there are so many athletes.
Yes.
Samantha Cork. She's done the 100. She's done the 4. She's done the 8. She's doing the 2.
She's fit.
Well, again, it's just, as you say, just doing everything, and you rate that. And when she decides which event she wants to focus on, if she does decide to do that, she's given herself a very, very big sample size to make the decision with. Samantha is in the outside lane there, running for Auckland. So Burnham. Coming up on the inside, though, is Vanita. My Powell on the inside. Vanita's going to lead them through. Powell starting to get about her work. Burnham, too. Coming down the outside is Kiana Pohi. It's going to be an Auckland 1-2. And Burnham just gets to the line for third spot ahead of Pohi. So it is Vanita, Powell, Burnham, Pohi. And then we had Cork and Tucker in the outside lanes. A little tumble there by the looks for Kiana Pohi.
Very quick to go over and check that her fellow competitor's okay.
Well, you've tumbled. Now, is it actually, has she hurt the ankle a little bit here? Sort of flexing a little bit. So we'll get an update on how things are there with Kiana Pohi. We'll just take a very short break here as our coverage of day 2 of the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championships continues on Sky Sport Next.
Hits Live Free is back. Listen out for the key songs weekdays on the Hits. Hear it, call, and go in the draw to win one of 5 keys that could unlock the Hits Live Free safe. 1 year, no rent, no mortgage. The Hits.
We're proud of our country, mountains and streams.
Our Jennian culture, our nation, our team.
Partnering with people who share your values is important. To achieve gold medals, you've got to put the hard yards in. The Jennian team share that pursuit of excellence, giving their best every day. And they get the results. Well done on 40 years, Jennian. Thanks for being the team behind the NZ team.
Clinicians thinks the way your body works is fascinating. Look at what happens when you breathe. Your lungs are constantly bringing in fresh air, catching oxygen to power your body and getting rid of carbon dioxide. But in winter, our lungs may need added support. So we've created Prospan Bronchial Syrup. New Zealand's #1 natural bronchial syrup, it contains a unique ivy leaf extract to soothe the throat and help clear the airways, supporting your whole family's health this winter. Clinicians, keep your body working.
So there you see the results of the women's under-20 200 metres. Hewitt, Evans, Rawl, Vogel and Cochran. So we are getting ready now for the men's under-20s. You see some of the people watching, enjoying, some of the athletes. It's all sectioned off as to where you can go for under-20 athletes, under-18 athletes, both genders. As you see them having either competed or maybe they're competing this afternoon. It's nice and relaxed. So you've just got the 200s to go, the 200 metres for men in the 20s, sponsored by your team at Time Out. So there's everyone just sort of sitting, looking very, very relaxed at the moment as we continue to wait. Looking a little bit ahead to what we've got for you this afternoon. We've got the 2,000 metre steeplechase for the under-18 men. We've got the 3,000 metre steeplechase for the under-20 women. And around about 2:15, we're into the finals of the events that you're watching right now. 200 metres. Women's 200 set to go at 2:15. Men's at 2:25. The under-18 women's final at 2:35. And then the men's equivalent 10 minutes later at 2:45. Steeplechase action again this afternoon with both the under-20 men and the under-18 women. And out on the field as we see Gurpreet Singh just looking very chilled and relaxed there.
Great to see these guys, these sprinters, back out here after a good day through the hundreds yesterday with some fantastic races.
Went to this afternoon from the field. Discus, under-18. Chelsea Blessing Sifford and company in that one there. Women's high jump. The men's long jump. Women's hammer throw. That's the under-20s. That's the under-18 high jump as well. Under-20 women's pole vault. The men's shot put for under-20. Get to see Liam and Chuck Wolf and company. The men's long jump, featuring a couple of the athletes we were watching at the high jump. Dale Arbuckle, Levi Murdoch, Kaylin Paraniki, and we'll be competing in that. We've got the discus throw, and then we've got the women's under-18 shot put. Now we just sit here and wait for the heats of the men's 200 metres. This is our under-20s. It's a good field. We saw Campbell putting some good efforts in yesterday. We've seen Flynn Johnson and Troy Middleton also doing some 400 running. As I say, there's Gurpreet Singh there just sitting on lane number 6.
Fresh from his 400. Lex Rebel Lewis.
Hamish Moore there from Otago as well. Yeah, Lex Rebel Lewis. So Mark Agnew is in lane number 2. Lex Rebel Lewis in lane number 3. Angus Liver, lane 4. Hamish Moore in 5. Gurpreet Singh in 6. Troy Middleton of Auckland is in 7. And then Elijah Campbell of Canterbury. And the outside lanes there. So, next River Lewis. He's got a qualifying mark for the 400 metres for the under-20s. So one of the highlights this morning. Shael Collette go underneath the qualifying mark or the standard mark in the 200. Gurpreet Singh's made a really nice start to get inside Troy Middleton. But look at the lanes inside him. There's more. Here comes Liver. Revel Lewis looking very comfortable. Knowing exactly what he needs to do. Liver easing down. There's a big finish coming here, though, from Troy Middleton. I don't think he's done enough to get Hamish Moore for the 3rd spot. Angus Liver, Lex Revel Lewis. Going through. Moore, I'm pretty sure, was 3rd. 22.02 for Angus, 22.08 for Lex. Just confirm that 3rd place spot. It was Hamish Moore, 22.25, and Troy Middleton, 22.26. So just 1/100th of a second in it. Some very good sprinting there.
Live those long strides, just shutting down early. So let's see a sub-22, hopefully this afternoon.
For those interested, having seen a qualification standard achieved this morning in the women, the qualifying standard for those Carly Games, 21.40. Angus really did, as Sarah Carly Ross said, really sort of just eased down a little bit to the line. So as we wait now for the next heat, this will be our final action of this opening session, day 2. The Jennian Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championships.
So top 3 to qualify for the final. Next 2 fastest qualifiers. So the top 3 will get the big queue. And then the next athletes will have to go faster than Middleton and Campbell from Heat 1.
There we see on the screen a gentleman that we need to make a bit of an apology to. It is a gentleman by the name of Ollie Krynen. I mispronounced his name about a year ago, and I had someone come to me and say, this is how you pronounce the name. It's Kirshnan. Okay, cool, thank you. The person was very forthright, to say the least. And so that is what I've been calling, but Oliver, lovely young man that he is.
He's very polite.
Has come up to Sarah Carly Ross and said, look, no offence, but it's actually Krynen. So to the Krynen family, first of all, my apologies. And to that person who was very, very forthright in telling me I was wrong, you're wrong as well, sunshine.
Yeah, it happens. You're doing it, and he's doing an amazing job. Nigel Yeldon, what a mastermind.
Do apologise, though, to the Krynen family, and that will be corrected, and you will not hear that mistake ever again. So we need to get it right, too, because Ollie's going to be in the mix with this one, you suspect.
He will be in the mix. Talented. We saw him in the 100 yesterday.
So one of the more experienced competitors at under 20 level. We've been calling Ollie for a wee while now. He's in lane number 6 and underway. Look for John Wells, though, as well, and Joshua Price, the Canterbury pair on the inside of him. It's a nice even bend being run at the moment. Zach Sanders, we can't forget, the 100 metres champion on the outside. And it is Sanders and Krynen. And I think both of them, if they wanted to, could probably just ease down a little bit. They've got their spot in the 200 sorted, and they do. It'll be a time around the mid-22s, but neither Zach Saunders or Ollie Krynen really needed to push themselves, though it's 22.02 for Zach Saunders easing down, and Oliver Krynen with a 22.27. John Wells gets that 3rd spot. Joshua Price, 22.88. That might be enough to sneak Josh in as one of the fastest non-qualifiers. No. Campbell with the 22.6, so Josh is going to miss out. Some very good times, though. Very good times. Seen some really good running this morning. Seen good work as well in the field. We will be back this afternoon at 1 o'clock for the afternoon session. Day 2 of the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championships of 2022. You're watching Sky Sport Next. See you at 1 o'clock.